Welcome to the European Technology Network. Sorry, we were plugging in. We realised last minute we weren't plugged in then. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ETN, the most European podcast in the world. Today on the docket, a lot of news going down. You have all seen Meta reverse EU Inc. Vibedesign is back. Google has somehow managed to kill Figma. Microsoft versus OpenAI. We're going to be jumping into everything. We've got a stacked guest list as well. But the funniest part of today is I'm going to be interviewing my old CEO.
Boss.
For those who don't know, I used to work at a company called Pigment. It was my first job in tech. I joined as a BDR a few years back.
There we go. Now everyone can hear me. It's great.
Today, great.
Life is good again.
Great. Maybe just move it away again.
Back in the podcast seat. I loved
quite happy running things.
Shall I leave?
Have you got a straw in your...
I got an iced latte.
Wow.
It's nice and hot in London today. You may have seen my London maxing post yesterday. I was in a beautiful office overlooking basically the whole of London.
Got a straw in your framing cup.
Had an iced latte in the office as well yesterday.
The West has fallen. I've got my standard.
My nice flat white. Anyway, today,
Quality
should we
check.
run through the guest list first?
Let's do it.
Yeah, before we do that, leave outdated business banking behind with Airwallex, the all-on financial platform built for the pace of modern business, multi-currency accounts, corporate cards, expense management, online payments, all in one platform. Go to airwallex.com. So, number one, we actually have a proper, serial entrepreneur, like sold to incredible companies and is now building something in a space that I don't think he realized that he would have been in, and it's super interesting. His name is Chaz Englander. He is the co-founder, or the current co-founder and CEO, I believe, of Model ML. So he founded Fat Llama, which was the sharing economy app. It was acquired by High-Glow. And then moved into instant delivery with a company called Fancy. That was acquired by GoPuff. They were both backed by YC.
Double acquisition.
Yeah, indeed.
Two-timer. Hit him with a two-timer.
He has raised, so he's raised for Model ML. He raised a $75 million Series A led by FT Partners in November, which is one of the largest fintech Series A rounds in history.
Yeah.
Bonkers. So proper entrepreneur on today, which is cool. Not that we don't have them on anyway. But next on the show, we have Katy Perry. Not that one, the CMO of Zero Hash.
So funny, just to jump in here quickly, I was chatting to Katy last night when we were getting her doing a guest announcement ready. And then sometimes we'll use like LLMs to increase the resolution of the photos, make them look a bit more HD.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't let me edit it at first.
Because it was sight.
Because it assumed that it was Katy Perry.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But you didn't have a name in the photo.
No, but like I think they like maybe reverse search the image. It comes up with Katy Perry when the results come up, and they like do like a reverse
and they were
image
like,
search.
That's a what do they call it? It's like a
public figure.
Yeah, person of interest or whatever it's called.
But in our minds, the more popular and celebrated Katy Perry, CMO at Zero Hash, they've recently opened up an office in Amsterdam. So we're going to be talking to her about that and all the beautiful things they're doing with European crypto. We had Ed Woodward on the show actually a while back, CEO of Zero Hash. And I remember one of those clips that Ed was on for like 5 minutes. It was a really quick interview. Just sort of getting an update. They'd passed like what was it, like it's called like My Car. It's something to do with like regulation around crypto, and they successfully completed it. And I remember they posted a clip from the show, and it got like 1.8 million impressions, or like 2 clips that equal to 1.8 million impressions. So Zero Hash, thank you for helping us with our distribution.
There you go.
Katy Perry, we cannot wait to welcome you onto the show, I believe, and this is a direct quote. I've forgotten the direct quote now, but Katy Perry reshared the guest announcement,
man.
Saying it was the best.
Everyone
day ever.
give it up for
maybe
for
like a shock there with how
good stuff.
My error there. Next on the show after that, we have Oliver Vince, co-founder at Basecamp Research. I'm skipped one over. We have Jeff Lynn, the chairman of Day Zero, a new venture fund launched by out of the Opus ecosystem. Shout out to Sam and the team over there and Ken. Jeff is the chairman for Day Zero. And also Republic Europe, and also the Startup Coalition. Great friends of the show. Shout out to Dom Hallis.
AKA, he's a big dog.
Absolute king of the game. Really looking forward to jump into it with him around day zero. They're doing concentrated small bets into pre-seed and seed companies, and they've got an absolute stellar lineup on the team as well. So Jeff is coming on to talk at 12:45. Let's go through that.
Back to Oliver Vince, co-founder at Basecamp Research. Now, Basecamp Research is a super interesting company. They have, or they're like doing the biggest effort to map life on Earth since the Human Genome Project. Basecamp Research, NVIDIA, and Anthropic, in like kind of collaboration in partnership, are launching the Trillion Gene Atlas, which is a pioneering project that could see medicines designed on demand. It basically maps the genetic data of 100 million new species, which obviously, like, you know, which obviously kind of gives us a bunch of genetic diversity kind of data points and all of that kind of stuff. And we're going to use it to kind of develop more medicines. So someone who is genuinely changing the world, which is actually pretty cool.
That is kick-ass.
Yeah, pretty nuts. And they launched that yesterday. So he's coming on the show to talk to us a little bit about that. Do you want to jump into Eleanor?
Absolutely. Eleanor Crespo, co-founder and co-CEO of Pigment. For those who don't know, Pigment has two CEOs, very much like Luke and I. We are not, however, approaching 100 million ARR, and we are not doubling revenue for the third year in a row, which Pigment are. Pigment, I mean, the lineup of investors that Pigment have is absolutely insane. Iconic Capital, IVP, a bunch of insane investors. They are a unicorn. They crossed the billion valuation mark about a year and a half ago. And we're going to be talking about the momentum that they're on, their recent release of the Modeler Agent. They're basically, for the last 3 years, have essentially positioned themselves as a native agentic and AI financial platform. But yeah, two co-CEOs, Eleanor Crespo and Roman Nicolai. I worked at Pigment for about a year and a half, so if there's anyone from the old team watching, shout out to all of you guys. It's going to be a fun one.
Got any name drops for anyone?
Oh, should I call some people out? Shout out to Greg, shout out to Alex, Stefan, Hugh, Oliver, Ricky, Callum,
nice.
Paul, Carl.
Whoa, producer, keep going.
Andreas.
These guys all need
Mark,
claps.
Elliot, Haley, Martin.
God, it's a big team.
That was a lot of people. I was really early. So
Eleanor as well.
Eleanor, obviously, shout out to Eleanor. No, it's gonna be a really fun one. Sorry if I missed one. Oh, Ollie as well. Shout out to Ollie.
Nice.
Sorry if I miss anyone there. Please do WhatsApp me and I'll just randomly shout you out during any interview that we do today.
I love it. That's going to be a good chat. I'm really excited for that.
It's going to be cool.
Then we have Jonah Lowenstein and Aurelia Swick. They are the co-founders of Aurora. Friends of the stream. We really like them. They've just launched a...
Wait, well, but let's just not walk past the gift they gave us here.
Well, actual friends of the stream, they've given us these bad boys.
These are...
it's probably easier to get this one out. That one's... Oh, no, it's fine.
Get mine out as well.
Aurora X ETN Bollinger champagne bottles. Thank you very much. Is this in my screen? I don't know.
Let's do my one as well. I don't want to be left out.
But yeah, maybe we'll pop one on the show. As a result of their launch, they came out with a kind of new video on X. They've made the switch over to X, which is cool.
Welcome to X, boys.
Welcome to X, and we'll watch that in a sec as well.
We'll play that on the stream.
Then we have Dennis Zhu. He is the co-founder of Adaptive AI. Adaptive AI went absolutely bonkers. They did a launch. I think it was, how long ago? It was 2 days, maybe 3 days ago. Maybe on the Tuesday that we had him on.
March 16th, 3 days ago.
3 days ago.
1.1 million views.
And essentially they are creating, like an AI platform that allows...
putting AI inside of an always-on personal computer
that
uses to get work done. Schedule agents, create software, automate anything.
It's super interesting because what they're doing is, so we talked to Gokul, who was talking about systems of record, but what Adaptive specifically does is kind of pull all of this isolated data from so many different apps. Even, you know, if you're not technical, you basically just plug in everything and it kind of enriches all of that data to be able to, you know, perform actions and do a bunch of other stuff. And as you ask more questions about it, it obviously learns more. I think they coined like a new phrase.
Yeah,
like
they're calling it encoded memory.
Yeah.
It encodes what it learned, how Square works, how your catalog is organized, how you prefer to get things done. This has been like a huge, like everyone is trying to build something that let's say I buy Salesforce. This is like the premise that we used to try and ship convergence. Like if I buy Salesforce, I'm having to adapt how my preference and my workflows are adapting to how the tool works. Yeah. Whereas like people are wanting these sort of universal context agents to adapt to your workflows and work how you work. Because like you could have, you know, 30 sales people at Salesforce. Yes, they all work at Salesforce. They're all doing the same job, but every single one of them has a different way of how they use those tools inside Salesforce. Yeah. So, that seems to be the whole premise of like how can we move towards a position where the tools are adapting us and we're not adapting to the tools, hence the name. I'm only just realizing this now, which is really stupid, but Adaptive.
People can adapt.
Shocking news.
Talking about adapting, we should kind of mention about the article that I want to go through. That's kind of a similar process, the one where
they're hiring. Edge of my seat right now.
They're hiring for someone who can just sit in the company, and then the role forms around them.
Stripes hiring post recently from the comms team. What, you want to just jump straight into that now?
Well, that was a nice segue to it, you know.
It is literally the last thing on the show.
Well, there we go. We can change things on. Talking about segues, the infrastructure of the on-chain world Base is built to empower builders, creators, and people everywhere to build apps, grow businesses, create what they love, and earn on chain. Go to base.org.
They're going to kit us out with some Base swag pretty soon. We're
going to have some Base bling.
Yeah.
Axel, if you're watching, this thing in the bin.
Yeah, I'm going to get rid of my horrible watch and get a little Base Casio on. And we also would love one of those. What they just tagged us in it just now?
It was a base. It was a moving like base hologram LED graphic LED thing.
Looks awesome.
Yeah. We could do that. We could code in like base X ETN to like come up on the stream and stuff like that. That'd be quite cool. Anyway, you're being told to do something.
I don't know what. Oh, got it. Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting told to readjust my mic.
Oh, moving mic.
Is that good? Yeah.
Okay, we're good. Let's jump into this. Let's jump into this thing. We don't actually have that long. We have a lot of stuff to get through. Yeah.
Well, this one. Let's just start from. We can come to that because this stuff is super important.
Stripe are hiring.
No. We'll come to that in a sec. Okay. We need to talk about EU Inc. first. EU Inc. will be first on the docket.
Boom.
Let me just share my screen. So this, the president of the European Commission came out yesterday. I think the news broke via Twitter. I'm pretty sure. Like I couldn't find it in any other outlet. Only like sort of hours later that it was picked up. But essentially, headline from Tech EU. This is by Kate Lawrence. EU Inc. marks major win for startups as Commission unveils 28th regime proposal. As we all know, we've discussed it many times. Shout out to Andreas Klinger and the team. They've done amazing work and have been grinding for a number of years to get this ahead.
You can show them on the. Go scroll down. There you go. Oh, right. Base team.
Boom.
Shout out to the base team.
So things are trending very well. Everyone's seen the news, not just recently, but also the fact that it was mentioned at Davos. That was a big turning point just publicly for this to get picked up. And essentially it's to make starting startups easier in Europe. You don't have to go through the sort of 40 different legal frameworks. You don't have to go through all these like notaries. You don't have to go through all these like random regulatory documents that are different for every single country.
I think it says, so just to quote the thing, if you kind of find 27, it says, today, for far too many entrepreneurs and innovative companies, expanding across EU borders means navigating a fragmented corporate legal landscape. European innovative companies are faced with 27 national legal systems and more than 60 company legal forms.
Yeah.
This complexity can obviously delay setting up of a company for weeks or even months, slowing growth, raising costs, and discouraging scale. I think they mentioned that this whole thing will shorten that time down to, I think it was like 45 minutes. It was literally like, one form, go and do your thing, give everyone your information that everyone needs to be able to legally set things up. Once you've done, you're one and done.
Yeah, it was
good to
48 hours.
Indeed.
You did the 10x rule again.
It was what?
It's 48 hours, not 45 minutes.
Oh,
so yeah, I mean, we discussed on the show multiple times, but Luke will either, when we have a figure to discuss, Luke will either 1,000 exit, 100 exit, or 10 exit, and he'll do it accidentally, obviously.
I swear something was about 45
but
minutes.
we'll also do it in the reverse way as well. So we'll make it 1,000 times smaller or 100 times smaller. But it's always just like near multiple.
I'm just keeping you on your toes,
But I like it. It keeps me on my toes, keeps the guests on the toes. Obviously, there is a potential chance one day we spread mass disinformation. But hey, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah. You got to stay informed instead. Polymarket, the world's largest prediction market. Stay informed and profit from your knowledge. Go to polymarket.com.
Love it. This is from President Ursula von der Leyen. Europe has the talent, the ideas, and the ambition to become the best place for innovators. Yet today, European entrepreneurs who want to scale up face 27 legal systems and more than 60 national forms. Boo.
Game over.
With EU Inc., we are making it drastically easier to start and grow a business all across Europe. Any entrepreneur will be able to create a company within 48 hours from anywhere in the European Union and fully online. This is crucial. This crucial step is just the beginning. Our goal is clear. One Europe, one market by 2028. That'll be a great ad read.
One Europe, one market.
One Europe, one market. Go to the European Commission.
European Commission, if you want to sponsor us, go for it. We will give you ad reads.
Just rattling off some of the main features from EU Inc. So faster registration. European entrepreneurs, founders, and companies will be able to found an EU Inc. company within 48 hours for less than €100 with no minimum share capital requirement. Simple procedures. EU Inc. companies will only need to submit their company information once via an EU level interface connecting national business registers together. Fully digital operations, helping founders restart faster and cheaper. Better conditions to attract investment, better means to attract talents, full access to the single market, strong safeguards against abuse, flexibility of shares. You'll ever see it, step in the right direction, I think I can't remember.
When they announced it, 3 weeks ago, everyone was super excited, whatever. We had Andreas on the show the day of, I think it was. But he was obviously caveating, yes, she's mentioned, it's on the radar of the EU Commission.
It was 3 months ago, by the way.
Damn.
Not 3 weeks ago. Another example.
A few weeks. I said a few weeks ago.
It was 3. You said 3 weeks.
That was 3 months ago. The last time we had Andreas on was 3 months ago.
Yeah, it was during Davos when they mentioned it in January.
Davos was 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Time
That's
flies.
so scary.
Fun, huh? Time flies. Just that podcast is high you've hit.
I mean,
you just ran through
January
it.
wasn't really 3 months ago. But yeah.
January 19th. Today is March 19th.
Yeah.
3 months.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I guess. Anyway, I was saying that, what was I saying? Yeah. So Andreas was basically yes, it's on the radar, but is it, will it actually happen? You've got to kind of just be a little bit careful about that. But obviously this is, again, as you said, steps in the right direction.
It's the wording they use as well. It's kind of like.
Yeah. It's like getting everyone excited, but then kind of
so we're looking forward to start this, and then we're excited to announce that we will discuss it.
Yeah, regardless of whether you're going to do it or not, you might be looking forward to it.
Yeah, literally. So I think they mentioned something around it being discussed late in 2026 to properly start having a conversation about rolling out.
Fairly speedy.
But,
anyway, next on the docket, Meta has shut down the metaverse. It scaled back its metaverse focus to prioritize AI. Similar things, what's kind of going on with OpenAI. Everyone's kind of consolidating, obviously for similar-ish reasons, but obviously there's nuance to different to different stories, but everyone is consolidating, or those two specifically are consolidating into actually just focusing down. Obviously, Meta has a strong business case. The Reality Labs unit reported a $6.2 billion operating loss in 1 quarter alone. So that's obviously an operational, bag fumble, which is just a screaming, guys, just stop doing this. This is just not working. They're obviously prioritizing AI. They've shut down a part of their kind of broader, pivot away from the metaverse to reallocate, resources, people, money, everything else into actually focusing on AI.
That's a lot of cash.
It's a lot of cash.
That's not like, okay, it won't really make a difference because everything's so expensive within like the AI and like progress that people are making now. Like we saw the CapEx reports, we reported on them. That is a meaningful amount of money. So, and everyone remembers when this first launched, it was kind of like, it shocked the world. It brought the stock price from
Think about all those Manuses that you could buy.
Yeah, all gone. It dropped the stock price from like $360 or something at the time to like $90. It was the company rebranded around it. He was incredibly bullish on this particular path. It was around the time as well of the. Obviously, it's a bit nuts in the way
it was early, right?
It was super early, and also it was quite trendy at the time on the insiders. Like the Bored Ape, like during the NFT craze, the metaverse seemed to sort of attach itself to that. Like load of headlines making news for like this platform called Sandbox, where you could buy digital land in the metaverse. Someone bought a plot of land next to Snoop Dogg's plot of land for $460,000. That was worth like nothing the previous day, but because Snoop Dogg bought it, the price went up in a similar fashion where like if a celebrity moves in on your street, house prices would probably go up as well. So there was a lot of buzz. There was global buzz around it.
Yeah, but they only ever got to a few 100,000 monthly users.
Did they have that many?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't even know they had that many.
Well, I mean, as you say, it had a buzz, right? It was early to the game. No one else had been doing this. It was the first kind of commercial and like consumer rollout of this stuff, but only got to a few 100,000,
and they were well poised to do it.
Which
right? They
might be an inflated number anyway.
That's like a surprisingly large amount. But they had the infrastructure to do it. They had the capabilities. Like they had metaverse was always been sort of somewhat connected to like the gaming space and also
it was an $80 billion
social space.
Bag fumble.
That is a lot of cash. That is obviously like an insane amount of money. But it was always sat within that sort of gaming sphere, social sphere. They also had like the Oculus like products to kind of merge those into like, oh, you wear this VR headset, now you're in the metaverse type things. That they were probably the only company positioned to take the bet. And I guess if you're going to do it, you might as well, in for a penny, in for a pound, you might as well go hard at it. Not saying that's the money well spent, but I guess rebranding the whole company around it. Although the name Meta has grown on me a little bit, to be honest.
I saw a tweet that was like, so when are you guys going to rebrand back to Facebook?
Yeah, I'm not surprised why. This is CNBC saying Meta is shutting down VR social platform Horizon Worlds in further pivot away from the metaverse. They announced Tuesday that it's shutting down Horizon Worlds, which is the virtual reality social network for Quest VR headsets that was once a key piece of the pivot to the metaverse. In a community blog, Meta have announced that Horizon Worlds app will be taken off Quest Store at the end of March, are fully removed from VR on June 15th. After that date, it will only be available on a standalone mobile app. Is a quote. We are separating the two platforms so each can grow with greater focus, and the Horizon Worlds platform will become a mobile-only experience, the company said in announcing the change. To me, that just reads as like, hey, this is just going to die. This is going to die. Mm-hmm. And it's probably like, there's probably pressure from the board. I guess Mark himself is probably like, yo, my bad. This one's just not going to pop off yet. Everything on AI. And the board would be like, yeah, dude, we kind of need to, because they have sort of, what have we heard from this super intelligence lab, right? Basically nothing. Made some huge hires, spent a lot of cash. I think they were the ones spending the most on the engineers during like the AI talent wars, which are still prevalent, but have kind of died down a little bit. But yeah,
headlines have died down. I think it's just like standard procedure.
Yeah, now. Maybe it's just we've adjusted to it, and it's not really headline worthy anymore.
Well, it's just like it's just happening.
Yeah, it's just like cool. Did you see the other day? This is kind of nuts, but something about the Keir Starmer, the UK had pledged $500K to help build like an AI data center. Something, and like someone reposted it. Like, I was really hoping this was a typo, but this is like legitimately funny. I was like, dude, like that's like a single engineer's bonus.
Yeah.
Like, not even that. Yeah, it came to my head just then. But some notes here, like when Meta changed its name from Facebook in October 2021 to cement the pivot to the metaverse, CEO Mark Zuckerberg called it the next frontier. Our hope is that within the next decade, the metaverse will reach 1 billion people, host hundreds of billions of dollars of digital commerce, and support jobs for millions of creators and developers, Zuckerberg wrote at the time. There's part of me that I like to respect founders or CEOs or leaders that are capable and willing to bet the company. I'm not saying he kind of did, but like in a way he kind of did. The stock price tanked after it. But similar in ways like to the Intercom guys, whenever like we have them on, or
we talk a lot about
Des and Adam and the stories from Owen as well. Like you have to, if there is some sort of like generational moments that you have to seize, or like the tides are turning in the environment that you're in, you have to be willing to pivot the whole course, the whole trajectory of the company. Yeah. And
what did Des say on the show? He said, you have to be willing to, what did he say? He said, you have to be willing to change with the market, you have to correct with the market, or the market will correct you.
Oof, boom. Such a cool quote. But it's so true, right? And look, if he'd pulled this off and the metaverse was like, the big thing, everyone would have been bowing down, probably plagued as like the greatest CEO or the greatest company bet of all time.
Yeah. I don't think the comments are like, Mark's made the wrong decision here in terms of like he's fumbled. It's like, everyone respects the fact that he bet he's made a bet didn't work, pull out and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And go and refocus where things are working.
Yeah. It's like an 80 billion hole though. It's like not like a
yeah.
You can't really walk back in like, yeah, my bad, that didn't work. They'd be like, okay, yeah, that's fine and all, but
$6 billion loss in a single quarter.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, hey man, major respect for that, but there's an 80 billion hole over there that we kind of need to fill.
Talking about other companies that are at a loss now, another story is Google has entered the Vibedesign arena.
Yes.
This came out yesterday, I believe. Google Labs posted on X introducing the new Stitch by Google, Google's Vibedesign platform that transforms natural language into high-fidelity designs in one seamless flow. Create with a smarter design agent, describe a new business concept or app vision, and see it take shape in an AI-native canvas. Iterate quickly, Stitch screens together into interactive prototypes and manages your brand with a portable design system. Collaborate with voice, use hands-free voice interactions to update layouts and explore new variations in real time. Try it now, currently available in English in countries where Gemini is supported.
Age 18 plus only.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
it's weird they probably have to mention that for a certain reason, but I don't know why.
Yeah, legal reasons. Who knows?
Should we have a look at the video?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's 1:32. Okay, in beta.
Okay, I want to design a new landing page for a brand. Something in matcha green, peach, or lilac.
I like the tune.
I've generated 3 visual directions for you.
Let's go with organic, handcrafted. Hey, can we swap the photo with this image? Yeah, nice. Let's apply the design system.
Yeah, sorry about that. Why would they put that in? Yeah, nice.
Yeah, nice.
That's funny.
So
seems
after
just
this
like another. I guess it has voice.
It's just not a text box like thing.
I'm just not that bullish on like create it out of thin air AI design yet. I'm just not. Like the Figmas, the Framers, like these handcrafted sort of things that require work done. I just don't think we're there yet. I think like those will And we've seen Figma stock tank, right? Like Figma.
Yeah.
Figma.
Well, yeah. I mean, the market doesn't agree, right? Post the IPO shares, they peaked at $122 in August, but AI design tools have caused like 80% of a plunge to $25 in March, which is peak. Employees have paper wealth, but they don't have any kind of liquidity on this. And Figma aborted the $20 billion Adobe acquisition in 2023, which was blocked by regulators. And so employees, don't have any liquidity because of that. Therefore, they had to do the IPO, which tripled the deal's valuation to around $60 billion. But yeah, they've just tanked. It's just tanked since they IPO'd.
Crazy to see. This is Matthew Kobach at Kobach says Figma employees got hit with the worst 1-2 timing punch ever. Should have had a huge acquisition exit from Adobe, and then the global regulatory environment killed that deal. So they go public and hit a market cap 3x of the acquisition price, and everything looks up. Then AI makes massive strides in the 6-month post-IPO lockup period, and the stock drops 80%.
But your take is you're still bullish on these handcrafted tools.
I think it's an overreaction from the market.
I agree. I agree. I think it will be it's hype, right? It's like, let's get excited about this, but or everyone's excited about this because like, oh my God, you can kind of change the game. I don't have to sit there and really craft anything out. But like, the ones that kind of stick with that are the ones that will probably win.
Yeah. And what I think is interesting is the fact that this, I wouldn't have expected, but I'm surprised to see Google release this.
Why?
Like, I just didn't think that this would be on the radar to do at the moment, like step into the Vibedesign world.
Obviously, well, they have a team. It's a completely different kind of like entity. It's stitched by Google. It has its own, has its own X account, has its own kind of, website. Yeah. It's a direction. It's, they've obviously got core teams working on the things that they're like genuinely focused on, but they've got the other teams kind of making bets, literally, right? And it's not a bet that probably could lose $6 billion in a quarter, in a quarter, right? It's a bet that might lose a few hundred mil, but you might as well go and try, right? When the AI is good enough to go and do things like this, it's worth trying to attack those kind of more legacy players like a Figma.
It's worth having a go. It's insane though, the market reaction right now, just how sensitive it is to any large player called, whether it's Anthropic, OpenAI, Google,
that's why being an
Microsoft.
equity analyst, like research equity analyst, or like any sort of form of fund manager in the public markets would genuinely be awful.
Because do you have to like bake in the possibility of like,
depends what you want to,
the risk, like how do you I remember seeing a lot of people read Figma after the downturn, after the initial launch. That was maybe I can't remember what it fell to recently. It was something like 45 or 50%. Mm-hmm. But
it's fallen 80% since its launch.
Which is insane.
Its peak.
But everyone's like, okay, like this seemed not, and it wasn't like random bag holders like this is definitely the floor. Like everybody buy up. It was like respected accounts that don't really have any exposure. Like. This looks like an acceptable place to maybe like get in, or like it looks like an acceptable place. It's probably not going to go down past here. But then Google just released this one video, this one short clip, and bang, the stock. I think the instant reaction was like an 8% drop. As soon as the video launched, as soon as it came out.
Yeah.
So like who is
so bonkers that just this social media can just
can
putting
do
something
that
on
now.
social media can just
But I feel this is a very new phenomenon. Like this wasn't happening last year. This is very, very new.
Yeah, I've got an interesting thing. So I saw a tweet, and this is now going to the town hall, but just quickly, I saw a tweet talking about why prediction markets have gained so much adoption, and their argument was because of polarization. The market has been kind of more polarized, whether that's traditional media, new media. It was from Boring Business, they said, Thought this was incredibly insightful on why prediction markets have gained more adoption due to polarization. From Tarek Mansour and Luana Lopez Lara's interview on Cheeky Pint, the country is more polarized, she said. The world is more polarized. The incentive structure for most things we read these days is clickbait, whether this is traditional news or social media. There was more of a pressing problem that helped create the wave, and the adoption you see in prediction markets, I don't think that would have happened 15 years ago, right? It's similar to this situation, right, where everything is becoming more, as everything's becoming faster, right? And therefore more polarizing things happening at a faster scale have a larger impact on everything. And there's less, there's more noise and there's less like thought being put into XYZ thing. I mean, like think about European tech last week, right? We had new company hit a unicorn valuation, EF. You had $1 billion seed round, which you had a record-breaking $1 billion seed round the week before. You had who was it? Ami Labs just was that Ami Labs that raised $1 billion?
Yeah, they did 1.03.
Yeah, and then you had a bunch of other stuff just like all happen at once, right? And it's like the speed that things are moving. And the polarization is like they're kind of intertwined, and therefore that's why things like this are happening. So it's an interesting take on Cheeky Pint. Yeah.
Yeah, the polarization thing seems to be we are maybe becoming desensitized to things that would have impressed us a year ago. Right? Like everything's just higher. I
mean, like 5 years ago,
faster.
$1 billion seed round out of Europe would be like mind blowing.
$1 billion seed round globally would be mind blowing. Like that would be insane. It'd be absolutely insane. Like that, and it's always a matter of time.
Which is not bad. I don't think that kind of thing is a bad thing, but it's but yeah, it's interesting to see where the world will go in 10 years when we're at this point now. And I'm incredibly bullish on companies like Polymarket where they take advantage of that, and I think they'll become like the new. I think we talked about this before. I think they'll become like the new kind of stock market, because it's the market of opinion, right? It's where things are
go
decided.
like super mainstream.
It's an amazing kind of signal. So you better get your UK license soon, please, Polymarket.
Boom.
Yeah.
Heard it here first.
Stay informed. Profit from your knowledge. Go to polymarket.com.
Look at that. So smooth. Let's talk about Google. Let's talk about Google Ventures.
Talk about Google.
They the VC arm.
Mr. Tom Hume.
This is Tom Hume over at Google Ventures, talking about the AI investment cycle and predicts that a comeback for Google Glass style smart glasses is on the rise. This is Tim Bradshaw over at the FT. Just straight off the top, Tom Hume leads the European office of GV, Alphabet's venture capital arm, helping to set up its London operations in 2014. Since then, the firm, originally known as Google Ventures, but operating independently from the internet business, has invested more than $1 billion in European startups. The whole premise of this article was GV doubles down on Europe. Previously working at the design consultancy IDEO, prior to that ran a small British sport car manufacturer before joining GV. This is Tom Hume. He has invested in fintechs like Stripe, Monzo and Blockchain.com, security startup Sync and UK smartphone designer Nothing, who we're huge fans of. While recent exits include Apple's second biggest ever acquisition, QAI. He previously backed Vasitech, which co-developed the Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine. A British Army reservist, Hume is also an advisor to the UK Ministry of Defence. How's that for an intro?
The big dog. So the story is the firm has doubled down recently, investing more than $600 million since 2023. That surpassed the $500 million in the previous 9 years, by the way.
Wow.
So like serious kind of like double down. 50% of GV's European investments are in London. 80% of GV's current investments are in AI, which I thought was, or AI native companies, which I thought was low. I know you mentioned that like, what about the legacy players,
80
whatever.
is pretty high.
I don't know, man. I think fine. If you're looking at the 10-year horizon or whatever, then maybe I guess that's the case in point. But, nowadays, it's going to be it's either 95% or 100%.
Yeah, coming soon. I mean, this is why I thought like the
Well, when we read what was it, the sifted like lineup of like how many deals all these like VC firms had done, they also
the
listed,
most
like,
active thing.
which was stupid anyway. But the most active, it was saying it also had a thing that was like, oh, what category are they investing into? Basically, every single one was AI agents.
Yeah. AI and agents. Well, I don't know when it happened. I think maybe like a year and a half, 2 years ago. But it was no longer. There was just this sort of signed social contract by everyone where we just dropped the, it wasn't like what company you're building. Oh, it's an AI company that does, this in construction or this in law.
It's
or
just
this
a company that.
And like and then you just know that the individual you're having a conversation with will assume that there is an AI backbone to the whole company.
Yeah,
We just stopped mentioning it.
Well, because I feel like you have to.
We just people don't even bother saying
I think
you just wouldn't say it's an AI.
Yeah,
company.
and like 23, it was like if you're using AI in a pitch deck, you're going to get funded, kind of thing. And everyone is pulling. Even if you don't need to be, it was a case of like even if you don't need AI, you kind of wanted to put it.
You had
to.
You had to. So many of these companies are doing it.
Now like you have to be using AI, otherwise you're especially obviously if you're a tech company.
No, it'd be ridiculous to even that just wouldn't work. Like it just wouldn't work at all.
Any entrepreneur who can build a company now not using AI is.
To be fair, I have a lot of respect for people. I guess maybe like commerce, like D2C, selling your own sort of stuff.
But you still be using AI. I mean, like you can use adaptive AI, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in their launch video, it was like, oh, if you use Square Pay and you're adding 20 more products, you don't have to manually add the products into Square.
Yeah,
there's probably give them a spreadsheet and be like, hey, I've connected my Square account. Please, can you add these new 20 products in the same style that I've added all the other 60 products that I sell? Bang, done.
Okay, maybe. I mean, what's left? Chef. Start your own restaurant. There's probably got to be some AI in there.
So we were speaking about this morning. Tom Hume is also predicting a resurgence in Google Glass, as you mentioned, suggesting that social norms around body-worn cameras will shift quickly once the utility is proven. I was like, oh, that's a bit weird that they're. I don't know, like I'm not bullish on that at all. And you were like, oh, but what about chefs?
Yeah, so the only reason I suggested that because
such a weird take.
I'm not talking about, and I'm now going to build on the point because like
you've never talked to me about chefs before.
No, so
this is
like
crazy.
chefs maybe a random one, but any regular individual, to be quite frank, I've been very bearish on AI wearables that either record like visually or audibly when in some sort of social environment. So this is. My thinking is maybe like non-social environments in which a wearable is likely to be worn would be the first place that you would see them roll out. However, after seeing there's a recent company launch that I can't remember the specific name of, but they went viral for the fact you essentially will take a chef, for example, right? Chefs, some of the now we have like influencers for everything, but some of the food influencers, for example, will strap a GoPro to their chest or strap a GoPro to their wrist as they're filming videos. In their launch video, it kind of showed like sort of people that are doing standard jobs, like chef or maybe like even like garbage disposal or like just getting about their daily life, like picking the kids up from school or something like that. Maybe that's a bit of a rogue one actually, but you don't want to be filming whilst you're doing that. But essentially you would then sell the video data to the company, or they would connect you with buyers,
right,
as like a middleman, like a brokerage almost of video recordings to be used as training data for like any labs that were doing like world models or like video related stuff. So in my mind, I can see if there's a financial incentive for the individuals who wear a wearable that is taking audio recordings or visual recordings, then I can see maybe that would be like the catalyst needed for it to get not mainstream, but like break into the public in a way where you could probably use a bunch of individuals for like design partners or seeing what
I don't know. I think that would do the opposite. I think you would create a divergence between two sets of people. One set who is profiting off filming or recording or by audio their day, and ones that are like, I don't care about the money, I'm just not going to do that. Yeah, you have a small subset of people who will be like, oh yeah, I'm a chef. Like I think I can. I mean, I think
there'd be a larger pool, I'd say, for the people that want to do it. Like, let's just like forget the fact that like it's weird.
Add an extra like £1,500 to your monthly income. Yeah,
do you know what I mean? I'd say that there are more people who would like to have more money than people who would not like to have more money. But I guess within that, there's a nuance on like more people that are willing to have, that want to have more money, that are willing to wear a camera and walk around in public. So like again, pool definitely decreases from that, right? But I think that could be an interesting angle. I don't know how well this company is doing. I think they launched like 2.5 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago.
Do you know that world models would they want to be buying this data?
Well, I think they use like video files for like training.
Surely self-driving companies like Waymo, whatever. Surely they should be employing this by paying like, you know, standard people to be driving with a, you know, a.
Well, I think like
the
LiDAR. Yeah. But I think like, who do you think they'll be selling it to? I think like companies like that maybe, who like use this stuff to train their models, like the video stuff. So I think like if Waymo or something like, hey, like let us buy all your, like we're gonna be like putting cameras on people walking around, like is that?
No, I'm not saying Waymo are gonna do it. What I'm saying is like, are they not like, say if I drive every single day work, to and from work.
Yeah.
Surely Waymo or Wave, if they want this data, they can, like, I don't know if it's legal to do this, but they can kind of go to a standard normal person who isn't associated with the company and say, hey, can we put a LiDAR recorder, whatever,
on your car,
like a sensor on your car, so we can use that data. We'll pay you £1,500 a month or whatever.
Yeah, they probably could.
Yeah.
I think they could. I mean, I don't know what's stopping them. I mean, there's probably like, okay, do they work for the business? Are they liable? What's the regulatory environment for that? Like, what if they crash?
Well, yeah, exactly.
So that's probably why they have to do it themselves. But yeah, I think that going back to the wearables, that's like my only short-term bullish thesis on wearables.
I do think it's almost like an inevitable thing that will happen, because the whole backbone of AI is context, right? And there'll come a point where AI gets so good in everything that you give it context in anyway, you're like, oh, well, why don't I just spill over into doing, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, I wear a camera at work eventually. Then it's like, oh, well, you know, I want it to now
especially
understand my whole life, whole day of my life. Oh, okay, now it's going to spill over into my kind of personal life. Then it's going to.
So I think that's where it would get of like social environments, right? So I'm referring to like non-social environments. I think would be more acceptable. If I'm on my own, I'm going for a walk, something like, and I wear a camera. People do that already, right? The vloggers walk around with selfie sticks. Like people are always recording. If I go to like my mate's house and we're all chilling in his lounge, and I've just got a huge camera placed on my chest, like I probably won't be invited back, you know? Or they'd probably be like, hey man, yeah, you can come, but just can you not wear the camera this time? So yeah, social environment's bearish on it, but I guess if there's a financial incentive, show me the incentive, I'll show you where people go. Like
indeed. Anyway, next on the docket is Microsoft about to sue OpenAI and Amazon, $50 billion deal that they may violate Microsoft's exclusive cloud partnership. So this was interesting, right? Bit of context: Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, when Altman was being fired from OpenAI, Satya Nadella was the guy that saved him, right? And so he kind of owes his career to Satya. When OpenAI restructured from the non-profit to the public benefit corporation after Altman was kind of like hired back in and, you know, messed with the board and kind of did a dirty on the board, Microsoft was part of that deal, and they owned 27% of OpenAI. Microsoft then gave up general cloud exclusivity in 2025, but they strictly retain a clause requiring all API calls to be routed through Microsoft's Azure, right? Then this year, obviously OpenAI announced the $50 billion deal, which is what this article is about, with Amazon, including $138 billion in AWS credits, cloud commitments. Microsoft viewed this as a direct violation of their API exclusivity, hence why they're annoyed. But to bypass the Microsoft contract, so they like knowingly did this. Amazon and OpenAI developed a stateful runtime environment called an SRE. And so OpenAI claimed that it was a product, not an API. Internally, Also, adding to this kind of like, cloudy, whatever this is, internally, Amazon issued a memo banning staff from saying the SRE enables access to ChatGPT. Instead, they had to use phrases like powered by or integrates with to avoid legal triggers. So they fully knew this. Obviously, Satya Nadella, when he heard, when he kind of got informed about all of this, super annoyed. The statement in the FT, I think it was in the FT, he said, or Microsoft's statement was, in quotes, if Amazon and OpenAI want to take a bet on the creativity of their contractual lawyers, I would back us, not them.
Oh yeah,
which
here it
is
in the
so
FT.
gangster. Super interesting story. Do you want to read the FT article? Bit of context, but
Yeah.
go on.
So Microsoft is weighing legal action against Amazon and OpenAI over a $50 billion deal that could breach its exclusive cloud partnership with the ChatGPT maker, setting up a clash between the big tech rivals. This is just super quick. On the come up, it's kind of has been OpenAI and Microsoft versus. They were almost seen as a dual pair. Like every time that OpenAI announced like a new 500 million, like Stargate, for example, Microsoft stock would rip. So it would trend according to the performance of OpenAI, and typically because I think what their stake is like 28%, which is huge, right? Which is insane. Like
it went from it was 30 billion to just under 20 billion as whatever the value of their stake to about $138 billion.
Yeah, wow. So obviously not a small number.
Bonkers.
So this comes, and there has been a sense after the rebrand that it's kind of like, okay, have we signed like a pretty stupid deal with this? Are we like kind of trapped in this? And there's always been these rumors circulating of, okay, Microsoft's not happy with this thing that they're doing with like another one of the competitors, or like Microsoft's not happy with this thing that they're doing with another. So there's probably just like a time sort of thing on this where they're going to come out of this.
At the bottom of Nick, so Nick on X wrote a piece, wrote a post about this, kind of quote tweeting the FT's post when they launched it, and at the bottom it says "Scam Altman strikes again."
He's super. Nick's super bearish on it.
But it is interesting, right? Like just diving into the post, it says Microsoft engineers looked at the SRE architecture and they said this is not technically possible without violating the contract. Satya finds out that he's been cut by Sam Altman. The Microsoft exec literally says, "We know our contract. We will sue them if they breach it." AWS quietly gives employees that memo. So basically Sam Altman knows exactly kind of like what he's doing. It's all kind of come out of the woodworks. Who knows what will happen with, what happens when you sue a company that you own part of? Well, quite a large chunk of.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a little bit.
They're suing their investor essentially.
A little bit
They're suing their
awkward
investor
in the investor updates.
And their customer as well. Not looking too good. I'm sure that will probably end in a pretty bad. And Musk's there just ready to fire out another tweet it was like him smoking a cig with Grok or something like that. To quote for all that. From the FT, the quote that was mentioned, "We know our contract," said a person familiar from Microsoft. "We will sue them if they breach it. If Amazon and OpenAI want to make a bet on the creativity of their contractual lawyers, I would back us, not them." And it would be, one can assume that it would be typical for in quotation marks, it's obviously not a startup, but in quotation marks, the startup versus the large, enterprise. Microsoft will be probably, one, because they're incentivized to do so, but two, because they are a large organization, they will be operating to the letter of the law, whereas OpenAI will probably be scheming to get out of this type of thing. Because it does kind of, if it's directly impacting the revenue that they could possibly get from working with all of these larger players, then why would they want to? They would be doing everything they possibly can to get out of the agreement, right? Yeah. There's a few things here just down below, mentioning about the plans for OpenAI regarding a public listing. OpenAI plans for a public listing as early as this year.
It's gonna kill them because, well, not kill them, but it's gonna hurt them because they've got that legal battle with Musk. They've got this.
What happened to that? Is that still going on?
It's still going on. I don't know. I haven't seen much about it. But they've got two very high profile legal battles at the moment going on. That will stop them doing being able to do an IPO.
It says here the IPO is already complicated by a lawsuit filed by Elon Musk against chief executive Sam Altman, with obviously who he co-founded the startup in 2015.
But it's so funny because so when Satya like saved Altman's career when he got chucked out of the board, they obviously invested, and OpenAI had been basically running on Microsoft money. Then Altman obviously recently, a few weeks back, raised a $110 billion deal, kind of removing the almost like chains basically, as I assume that's what kind of Sam Altman felt like they were, from Microsoft. And it's like, oh, well, now I don't have to rely on Microsoft's money. I'm kind of on my own now. And then they can kind of go and do a deal with main competitor, breach contracts. Let's go and kind of...
Yeah, they got a bit of firepower.
They got a bit of firepower, but also it's like, it just put such a sour taste in the mouth of everyone else when you're thinking about, going into deals with someone like Sam Altman, right?
Yeah, what you think it's just like a bad precedent?
Oh, such a bad precedent.
Yeah.
Such a bad precedent. I mean, Nick getting 1.8 million views with literally saying scam Altman strikes again.
Yeah.
Is always he doesn't have any strong.
Well, he's not doing too well in the public limelight recently.
Yeah. One of the comments is how Sama feels being the supreme tech villain.
Oh God, he is getting rinsed online at the moment.
He's getting rinsed. Yeah,
and they don't help themselves. To be fair, they definitely don't help themselves.
Yeah, well, he's portrayed another partner.
Yikes! And here next, I mean, and a quite lighter segue. It's the Anthropic survey. The 81,000 people.
Oh, this was awesome.
Largest qualitative survey of its kind. Before I tell you about that, I want to tell you about our friends over there at Framer. Build better sites faster. The all-in-one platform where enterprise teams design, build, and ship production-ready websites. No dev handoff, no bottlenecks, no creative compromises. We migrated ETN to Framer ourselves. Not technical. It was very easy. Go to framer.com/ETN to do that.
181,000 people want what 181,000 people want from AI. Last December, tens of thousands of Claude users around the world had a conversation with our AI interviewer to share how they use AI, what they dream it could make possible, and what they fear it might do. This is super interesting, awesome website as well. There's a good little bit here. If we want what people want from AI. So there's little different quotes here, but what people hope for, 18.8% is the largest, is professional excellence. A healthcare worker said, I receive 100 to 150 text messages per day from doctors and nurses. So much of my cognitive labor was spent on documentation. Since implementing AI, the pressure of documentation has been lifted. I have more patience with nurses, more time to explain things to my family members. The next biggest one is personal transformation. Someone in Hungary said, AI modeled emotional intelligence for me. I could use those behaviors with humans and become a better person.
Wait, that's the second most
used
thing?
I thought that was... entrepreneurship is number 7 with only 8%. Entrepreneurship, someone in Cameroon, which is kind of rogue, said, I'm in a tech disadvantaged country and I can't afford many failures. With AI, I've reached professional level in cybersecurity, UX design, marketing, and project management simultaneously. Finding a payment platform available in my region would have taken me a month. AI did it for me in 30 seconds. It's an equalizer. That's pretty wicked. Gangster. I'm so surprised entrepreneurship is so low down on this list. What people hope for. I can understand professional excellence, but personal transformation is weird. Life management I can get. To be honest,
I think we're underestimating the amount of take personal transformation. I know a bunch of people, to be fair, that will use...
I do know a bunch of people, yeah.
GPT.
I know someone who's trying to get into freelance, trying to be a freelancer, and has basically used Claude to map out, the next year to get them to be there.
Oh, just
you need to reach out to this amount of clients or potential clients this month. You need to be able to do this month, and basically gives them personal KPIs to be able to, by 2027, if you stick to this, you should have the ability to do a transition that's pretty smooth with X amount in revenue per month, whatever. I think that's pretty cool. And you're kind of,
to be fair, wait, now I think about it, I the other day I was like, hey, build me a diet plan and a workout plan that matches that. I
Yeah.
guess that would probably fall into personal transformation, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Life management. Personal transformation.
Maybe like,
But
well,
like
what's the
learning
life
and growth.
management?
Like what's learning and growth? I worked with an AI to prepare educational materials for my eldest child. That's fair. Okay, that's fine. That's just learning.
That's just learning. Boo.
Boom. Just learning. What the hell?
Wait, so life management. If AI truly handled the mental load, it would give me back something priceless. Undivided attention from a manager and executive in Denmark. Time freedom here. Number 4 on the list. With AI support, I can now leave work on time to pick up my kids from school, feed them, and play with them. Software engineer in Mexico. Oh, that's a nice, wholesome one. I feel like that, they slightly overlap, I guess. Some of them, like time freedom, life management.
Time freedom is just that's just a pretty standard one.
But that comes into life management, surely.
Yeah. I also found one, if you scroll down a little bit, where AI is delivered on their vision. Number 1 is productivity with 32%. It says, for the first time I felt AI had surpassed human quality in a business task. That day I left work on time and picked up my daughter from daycare. Then the second one is AI hasn't delivered.
Wow, that's
AI should be clean.
18.9%.
Someone in Germany, which is hilarious. AI should be cleaning windows and emptying the dishwasher so I can paint and write poetry. Right now, it's exactly the other way around.
Who is this German scholar he refers to here? This guy's, we've got a dreamer on our hands over here. That's awesome. No way.
That's hilarious. Anyway, I think we have our
in
first
there.
guest in the show. Let me have a look. We're just waiting for our producer. Chaz, can you hear us? Awesome. How's it going?
Dude, what's up?
Yeah, very good.
Guys, I've been looking forward to meeting you. How are things?
Mate,
Good.
you're doing very well. Thanks for joining us, man.
No, I'm over the moon.
Welcome to the European Technology Network. We've just been talking about Anthropic's recent survey they did on 81,000 people, and it's going through like, did they find it? Was productivity the best thing? Do you think AI hasn't delivered? Do you think what's this one? Cognitive partnership. But it's basically
how
like
people are using AI across the world.
Yeah,
Super
professional
interesting.
excellence seems to be the top one, and then creative expression the bottom.
Maybe
one.
we should ask you. Let's do a survey. How are you using AI in your personal life?
Oh, in my personal life, I mean, it's driving my family crazy. I'm only at home 3 or 4 hours on Saturday and Sunday afternoon because we're still pretty much rocking 997 here. But when I'm at home, I mean, you bet I've got Cursor, Claude Code up. I'm working across like 5-6 terminals. Yeah, it's fun.
I love it.
Building up for myself every weekend.
That's so cool. I love it. I love
Let's
it. Dude, well, let's jump straight in. Give us the update on Model ML. Super interesting. We've got a bunch of questions, but maybe just a quick intro from you about Model ML. And yeah, we'll go from there. You recently raised a Series A, right? November, so semi-recently.
November, yeah. So, look, I mean, our story was, I mean, I've been building software companies with my brother Arnie my whole life. We sold the first 2. We then started kind of a small family office type setup. So we were investing our own money across a variety of different asset classes and strategies. I mean, Arns was only 22 at the time. I was like 27. So still had plenty of gas in us. And then we spent about Arnie stayed on at GoPar for 3 years, but we spent about 3 years investing ourselves. We hired 3 or 4 people to do that. And we were spending a lot of our time writing software to make that process better. I think, to be honest, out of boredom, like investing in that environment was like kind of boring. Like we like building things. So we were building stuff. And then, by the time mid-24, end of 24, we just had a lot of people, really senior people at banks and private equity firms that we'd met, through private investing being like, guys, we want to use this. So yeah, we launched end of 24 and raised about 100 million in our first 12 months across a couple of rounds. It's been a crazy ride so far.
What a journey. I've got, let's just focus on Model ML now with these questions, but I definitely want to ask like a little bit about that transition and the family office stuff. I wasn't aware of that. That sounds really fun, especially since you were 27 and was it your brother that you said, or your co-founder?
Yeah, he was 22. Yeah.
That's bonkers.
22. That's insane. What an absolute legend. But maybe like the Series A was, it was a historic raise, right? It was one of the largest raises, Series A's specifically within fintech at the time. Like talk to us about that. Like why such a large number? Like were you guys thinking like, let's go out and break a record with this Series A, or?
No, I mean, it sounds like something we would try and do, I suppose, but no, we tripled revenue like every quarter last year. Like the business has been growing. We've been seeing serious value. I think when you're growing at that kind of rate as well, yeah, clearly you get inbound investor interest. There was also, the market, there was kind of rumors about M&A starting to happen and things like that. And we ended up receiving a kind of a number of kind of, just let's call it inbound interest on that front. And we were like, look, now's the time. We probably were going to wait until Q1, but it happened when it happened. I was in San Francisco onboarding a customer of ours, and I was supposed to be there for 5 days, ended up being there for 6 weeks and just getting the whole round done in one go. Wow. It was good fun though.
Yeah. I love it. Talk to us a little bit about you guys. I think you've acquired a few companies, like AI agent specific companies. What's your thesis behind kind of M&A? We've had a few early stage companies, take this approach, right? It's quite a rare approach at the moment, but I think it's becoming more of a thing with acquiring your way early days, right? It's normally just for a later kind of stage company.
Well, first of all, certainly in the B2B world, we've never seen companies grow this quickly, right? So that's the first thing. Now, if you look at our business, and if you were looking at, let's say you were looking at investing in our business, and coming into this year, how would you think about the risk? Well, the first question you ask yourself is, does this company have product market fit? Well, yeah, we have clear product market fit. People love using our product. We're growing like crazy, and the unit economics add up, right? The second question you would have at this stage is this one of the companies in the space that has escape velocity? I.e., are they the or one of the category leaders, right?
Yeah.
And the answer is clearly yes. Us and one or two others, we've got ahead of the pack, etc. So what is our risk? Our risk is, in the AI world, I've said this before, we might have product market fit today, but we may wake up tomorrow morning and no longer have product market fit on the basis of just how quickly this market is moving, right? So that means that we need to ship product faster than anyone else. Put bluntly, if we do ship product faster than anyone else, we will win. We'll be a $10 billion company before the end of next year, right? So as you think about how to structure an organization that requires that level of speed, there's certain things you need to do. You need to make sure you have the correct scaffolding in place, we call it, and accountability and reporting lines. But it's also the type of people you want to hire or the type of people you want to bring into the organization, right? So we have these product pods, and we want those product pods to be as autonomous as possible, right? They need to be able to sprint in the direction that they want to, as autonomous as possible. And so the way to do that, we think, is you need to bring people into the organization that are like founders. It's quite common now that people are trying to hire, YC founders, right? It's because they're autonomous and they move fast. So there's that. There's also, a couple of acquisitions we made were a little bit strategic. We think owning an area of the data stack is quite important. That's why we bought Captide, and owning an area of the product that we wanted to get into. That's why we bought a company called Flipper. So there's got to be some synergies there, but really you're buying the people, right? That's the key here, is you're buying the people, and our opportunity cost, is so high that you can end up paying quite a lot for those people as well.
Yeah. I remember seeing, it's slightly related, but during the whole AI trade wars, a lot of the conversations were, the salaries were huge, the signing bonuses were massive, some people were shocked at it. And I remember someone saying, I think it was Nikita Bear that replied to a guy, but someone saying, why on earth are we paying these insane salaries for these insane people? And obviously the companies are doing it in an arms race to, maybe achieve AGI. And the response was how much money would you pay today for infinite money tomorrow? So it's there can be no cap.
Like you said, it's like sports bets, right? But the thing is, it comes down to the opportunity costs of not getting the best people, and the opportunity cost of not moving fast is so incredibly high that it kind of makes sense by the time you kind of reverse engineer the numbers.
Yeah. I love that way of thinking. It's so interesting. Sorry,
I wanted to quickly dive into the product. I saw that you said probably in 12 to 18 months away from seeing fully autonomous super agents in production in some of the largest firms in the world. Talk to us about that. Talk to us about the enterprise pickup of the product especially, but then of what you're seeing in these large firms. What's going on? Give us a bit more flavor.
Well, first of all, why have we done so well so far? I think it's because we are a workflow automation tool, right? So we automate workflows. We're not a generalist chatbot type product. You can do that in our product, as well as anyone else, if not far better. But we think that's somewhat table stakes now. And we made this bet early on because this is what we built for ourselves, right? You want to automate workflows. People don't necessarily want to have a product where they can come in and do anything. They want to be able to automate these very complicated long form outputs that they're doing on a repetitive basis. And by the way, guys, in some cases, they don't even want the tools to do that. They just want an outcome. They're paying for an outcome, right?
Wow.
So if we think about these systems today, they can probably get you to 80+%, 90% of the way there on a 200-page PowerPoint presentation, including all the Excel workbook backups, etc. Wow. Right? And right now, though, a human is coming in, they're like pointing this workflow in the direction of the new data, and they're clicking run. That takes 5 minutes to an hour to do, and then a human comes in, checks it, finishes it off, and gets on with their day. I think in about 12 to 18 months, two big things will happen more clearly. Those workflows will be close to 100%, if not most will be at 100%, to be honest. And the second thing is they will start to be able to do their work autonomously. Like, why do you need a human to come in and run a workflow when that workflow could be triggered by itself? It understands what you need, and when you need it, it would just go off and work.
Yeah. And within that though, like we've had a number of conversations with people who are sitting in the space between or within like the relationship between finance and AI and agents, and like historically has been something that's a bit more you're not able to innovate as quick, and they're just naturally based off the stuff that they work within. What has the appetite been from the enterprise teams that you work with in terms of like how fast they want to get this thing in the door? Because I think we all know there's like a natural lag effect from frontier technology within startups and also technology within enterprises. But I think also in an industry that's somewhat more regulated than others, like how are they kind of finding out about Claude Code this week, and they're like, oh, we need to look at this, or it's like, are we just finding about agents now? Like, how forward thinking are they?
So the market is definitely stabilizing. If you look at our types of, and our customers are kind of a third in, banking, a third in some of the largest consulting firms in the world, a third in kind of asset managers rather. So, and if we look at those firms, they most now have like a chief AI officer or a head of AI. That tells us that the market is stabilizing. It's becoming very clear that, where the decision-making process happens, etc. And, I think on the whole, they've done a really good job to procure these products. If you think historically to onboard a new data vendor or a CRM, that would take 2 years. Most of the firms put in these AI committees or similar to kind of look at trialing tools. So they've done a pretty good job there. I think as the market stabilizes now, this kind of like trial fever will go away, and we're just seeing that now. So, if I would say probably 50% of our customers now are not even doing a trial. They don't need to. A year ago, 100% were doing a trial. And that tends to happen as a market stabilizes, where the product that you're buying is slightly more of a known commodity.
Yeah. Do you think that's the main reason, or is it just if we don't do this, we might die because the competition is doing this? We've had a few people say, that's it's almost like they're in a position of if it's a critical position that they have to go and do this because they're being forced almost by the market because everyone else is moving in that direction.
I think that plays a part. I do think that is relatively short-lived though. Like at the end of the day. I keep reminding everyone, you can raise a Series A on excitement, but you don't raise a Series B on excitement. You raise a Series B on metrics. And in some respects, everyone always asks, well, Arnie and I's background is consumer companies. So how do we then land in a B2B business? But the metrics that we care about are things like feature adoption rate and retention and usage and all of the things that actually matter for the longevity of the company. And so if you are buying a product just because your competitor is, sure, it might be the right decision, but often in that sort of environment, you see these companies and their retention metrics and everything else start to fall apart.
Yeah, I can imagine. Super quick, you mentioned like you've co-founded multiple businesses now with your brother. What's that like? It's quite. There was someone else that we had on. Who is it?
I can't remember.
I know the name. The database guys. SurrealDB.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. SurrealDB co-founders. We're also brothers. But what's it like co-founding with your brother? It must be quite fun.
Oh, it's the best. It's the best. The thing is, we're just like, you know, I say to people, we're clearly not doing this because we're financially motivated in any way. Frankly, you know, we'd give away all of our stock and all the money that we've ever earned, etc. We're doing this for the pure love of the game. And there's two things we care about, right? Like, we love building software. It's just, we always have done. It's what we want to do for the rest of our lives. And we're competitive as hell. The only thing, you know, my dad was, you know, a semi-professional rugby player. I've got 3 brothers, so we're 4 boys, right? Everything was competitive when we were growing up. Like the speed we got out of bed, our grades at school, you know, how good we were at sport, everything was competitive. So for Arns and I, we want to work with great software and we just want to win. You know, I say to the company regularly, I'm like, look, if we had 3, you know, I'm not sure this makes us very investable, right? But if I had 3 possible scenarios in a year's time with, you know, with $0, $5 billion or $100 billion, you get to choose 2. Everyone better be choosing 0 and 100. No one's choosing 5. You know, we're playing to win, and that's the way that's what we enjoy, right?
That's so awesome.
That's such a great way to put it.
Yeah, I just can imagine.
Is that how you built? Is that how you built kind of Fat Llama? How you built Fancy? Like, was that the we have to play?
We're playing to win.
Yeah.
What's the point? You know, 50 years time when I'm sat in the sun, I've got grey hair. You know, I don't want to be like, yeah, we did amazing. We built a $100 billion company, but we came second. Yeah. We just want to know we won.
I love it. I love it.
Dude, thank you so much for joining us. Where can we send people? Like, we've got like about 20 seconds left. Like, is there like a website to point people to, a socials page? Like,
if people are interested, definitely follow us on LinkedIn. We put a lot of our content on there, and for sure go to modelml.com. And you know, if you want to demo the product, anything, just sign up via there, and we'll get you onboarded.
Awesome, love it.
Chaz,
Talk soon.
Thanks
for
so joining,
much.
mate.
Appreciate it.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Ciao.
Awesome stuff. Before I have our next guest on, Polymarket, the world's largest prediction market. Stay informed and profit from human knowledge. I believe we have Katie in the studio. Let's have a look.
Welcoming Katie Perry, CMO of Zero Hash. Katie, what's going on?
Yes, we can.
Loud and clear. Good morning.
Good afternoon.
It's early afternoon. It's 12:15 here.
15 minutes into the afternoon.
I'm so excited. I feel like I was your first fan, or like top 5.
We've been talking on X for a while, actually. I'm trying to remember when the first one was, but it was even before we had Ed on.
Yeah, as soon as you announced it, I saw it and I love a bit. And I was like, this is good, because I don't know the genesis of the show, but I'm like, I feel like this is one of those businesses that started and it was kind of a joke. And then it wasn't, and now it's like huge. So.
Yeah, we kind of had to prove once we launched, we had to prove that we were actually like, you know, seriously going to do this thing. We had a bunch of people, you know, DM us and say, was this just a bit, or like, is this actually a thing? And we were like, no, this is a thing. Like we're going to be around.
They thought it was some sort of joke.
Congrats on all this success. I feel like I'm part of the journey. So
no, you absolutely are. I remember we were saying when we were introing you coming on today, we were saying that when we had Ed on, you guys, I think you guys even clipped up Ed's show. I'm not sure if we were like super on it with the clips back then, but like 2 of them.
Oh yeah, we were on it. We love it.
Yeah, you were on it so fast. They got like 1.2 million impressions as well. So.
Yeah, we were gassed about that. Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about why you're on the show. Let's talk about communication. Let's talk about all of that fun stuff. I think that is a nice segue into, you know, your guys' approach to it, or your personal approach to communication and how things are changing. Give us a bit of an update on Zero Hash and where you guys are.
Yeah, so if your viewers are familiar, maybe from Ed's interview, if not, we're sort of, think of us as the plumbing behind digital assets. So helping banks, brokerages, fintechs, really any company that wants to go on chain. We power things like crypto trading, stablecoin payments, tokenization. Similar to how AWS helps anyone build on the internet, we want to help any company build and transact on chain with digital assets. So the company's been around since 2017, which is, I feel like crypto's like dog years. That's like a long time to be around. And
back. Sorry, we lost audio for a second, but we got you.
Oh, that's okay. I'm back. I was saying the company's been around a while, but we've had a lot of momentum, obviously, with the regulatory updates stateside here, and obviously in your neck of the woods. And our latest big news, and why I slid into your DMs, was because we're formally expanding our presence in Europe as of this week. So opening in Amsterdam.
Let's go. We'd love to see it. What a spot as well, Amsterdam.
It's like, I've never been to Amsterdam. I'm so excited to go. It's in like central South Canal, I want to say. I might be completely butchering that. So if you're from Amsterdam, check me. It's like when people come to New York and they say things and I'm like, you're not from here. But we actually relocated a bunch of employees out there. A lot of people raised their hand and they were like, yes, I would love to go to Amsterdam. So we're hiring. But yeah, a lot of momentum. We have a lot of global customers, both, a lot of financial institutions here in the US who want to do things globally. And we obviously have the licenses here in the US and now in Europe, but also European partners as well. So super excited. I can't wait to come over to your side of the pond and say hi to everyone there, but see you guys as well.
Hell yeah. I'm pumped for that. And like, I'd love to talk more about your role. Like we've spoke to, you've had a few CMOs on the pod, but I don't think we've had like a crypto focused CMO on the pod. Would love to hear about like, what do you, what's like the whole premise of your position, right? Obviously distribution, obviously communication, obviously like creative ways to increase the user base, but would love to hear from you directly.
Yeah. So it's interesting. So with what we do, we're infrastructure. So it's not like the most exciting thing at face value. Our brand and how we build that brand does the product work very well for our partners so that they can create better experiences and better products for their customers. And so to everyday people like you and I that are using some of these platforms, you might see us kind of here and there, but it's sort of like this invisible layer. And it's a really interesting place to be in the marketing world because as a marketer, marketers want to be the main character. You want to be out there, but for us, like the brand and the positioning is, are we trustworthy with our partners? Are we delivering high uptime, which we always do? Are we innovating the product so that they can make better experiences for their customers? So our whole goal, like I think of my job as the CMO, is to get anyone who buys Zero Hash, I want to get them promoted or get them like to their next job. Cool. They should look good and innovative and feel good about buying us. And so it's a little bit different. My prior role, I was at a brokerage app based in the US called Public, and it was consumer marketing, which was so much different. We had a commercial where we got Michael Bolton, the singer, to like sing a song about leaving Robin Hood. It's so different. But I'm really enjoying it. And what I enjoy the most is just the acceleration and the velocity of the product. I feel slow keeping up with all the things going on and talking about them, which is a lot of fun as a marketer.
That's super fun. You touched on the regulatory environment. You guys have obviously taken advantage of the Trump administration and the kind of favorable environment regulatory wise. Talk to us a little bit about your role in that specifically in the kind of regulatory sense and how you guys kind of navigate all of that while, things are kind of not in your control and you have to kind of, change the way that you guys, market to the world, right?
Yeah, it's really interesting. So before I was in crypto and fintech, I was in marketing. And so ad tech. And I was just talking about this the other day, how I remember this was, 5-10 years ago, it felt like there was a big chasm between the lawmakers and the people building the companies. And I don't know if you guys saw any of the viral clips. There would be, American Congress people like asking like, why did I get this email when I didn't sign? Like they didn't even know how email worked. And it was like, when I was in that industry, I was like, how do you not know this? And I think coming into fintech and crypto, what's really different, I think, is there's a lot more collaboration. So even yesterday, our chief compliance officer was in DC. He did a fireside chat with the SEC Commissioner Hester Pierce. There's just more like they're talking to each other more, which I think is really important. If you're making the laws, you should sort of understand. And the one thing I've learned just getting really, really immersed in crypto specifically is all of the nuances. There's just so many, if you use an asset this way versus if you use it that way. And so I think for us, we love to collaborate with the lawmakers. We're very involved. Our team's down in DC a lot. And it seems like from my vantage point that there is more listening and learning both ways. And that's why there's been more movement.
Yeah, it seems to be like we've had a few, especially with Axel the other day, like one of the base team. there's like I guess a global shift in mass adoption, not only from like consumer side, but also like from a regulatory perspective, right? Like we're seeing a lot of financial institutions that would be classed as traditional, kind of like opening up to the premise of it, opening up to adopting it and rolling it out.
Yeah, and it's moving beyond just, even when I talk to my parents or somebody, when I take this job, they're like, "Oh, crypto, that seems volatile." And it's what's changing is, it was just mechanism for trading, investing, and increasingly it's sort of like the rails. It's just how money is moving. And when you add that factor in, it changes a lot, because then it's a lot more embedded. It's into the tech and the infrastructure of how these major complex financial institutions are working, and it feels like the hooks are kind of in, and they're continuing to be in there, which is really exciting, and it's a really fun time to be building in the space.
Yeah, true.
I wanted to touch on Morgan Stanley and their announcement that they've kind of, what was it? They're like now offering kind of their crypto trading through with the help of Zero Hash. Talk to us about the enterprise kind of uptake of things like this. How is the market moving towards crypto and getting on chain, and how is Zero Hash helping?
Yeah, I mean, we've all seen the clips on crypto Twitter, where as soon as one of these big leaders at a financial institution says something bullish about crypto, it's clipped and it's shared, and you have Larry Fink. And I think you've seen more of that. And it is due to the infrastructure aspect and the understanding that I think Caroline Pham made a really good analogy at an event yesterday that I was like, I'm going to steal this. But basically, you have smart watches, you have smart TVs, you have smart refrigerators. This is just a smarter way to move money that's programmable, that you can control more. And so I think that's what you're seeing with companies like Morgan Stanley. What's interesting is, the level of trust that's required to embed in those places. And I think for us, a big thing is going back to sort of like the things in the marketing world that don't always get the headlines, but the compliance, the licenses, the track record, it's very important. When they do things, they want to do things right. And so we did announce with our fundraise back in the fall, Morgan Stanley would be working with us to build out crypto across their E-Trade platform. That's actively being worked on, and we should have some updates there soon. But what's fascinating about all this is you have the biggest, you have the Morgan Stanley. We work with BlackRock, Franklin Templeton, Interactive Brokers, but then also people like Kalshi. And so you have very sort of traditional, complicated, large companies. And then you have sort of these really exciting incumbents that are innovating. And it's really fun to work across the two worlds.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'd be remiss if we didn't mention, you have a book, right?
I do. I thought you were going to say I would be remiss if you didn't mention my name. We got so far without...
you brought it up, not us.
I know. I always I proactively bring it up. It's like a trauma response. The book. So, the book is. I have a book coming out. It's. I thought it was separate from Zero Hash, but it's funny because the worlds are converging. So as I said, I worked at a brokerage. I got really interested in in Europe as well, but in the US, obviously retail investing. Everyone's on their phone trading all the time. I don't know if you saw that. You just mentioned Polymarket. They have the Situation Room now in DC where you can trade on anything. But I became really fascinated from the lens of what are companies supposed to do? They're used to talking to analysts and like CNBC reporters, and now some guy on Reddit's like moving your stock. And so I got really interested in it and talked to a lot of people. And I have a book coming out in July called Ticker Shock that's all about how companies sort of need to respond. They need to go on shows like yours. They need to go talk to the people. They need to have clips. They need to, it just fundamentally changes everything. And the last chapter of the book is actually all about tokenization and how that unlocks trading more globally. So it comes kind of full circle back into what I'm doing now. But I'm excited about it. You can pre-order it if you want. If not, that's fine.
Yeah. No, hell yeah! You got to come on the show when this thing launches again.
I gotta I'll send you guys a copy for sure.
Let's go.
Definitely.
Wait, that's so cool. So this is so weird that you mentioned this as well, and it sounds like you've been working on this for a while. But like the and early as well, realizing it early. But like we've banged on about it a couple times already. But Brian Armstrong's recent podcast with David Senra, like towards the end, they specifically mentioned that Coinbase is turning into essentially a media company. They're owning their own media and they're going direct. And it just resonated so well then with the sense like you have to be in like quite a constant reactionary state to react to the market around you, like specifically on Twitter, right? Like it seems to be where everything is happening. And
platforms you're building, like you are, any company watching, their leadership should be on shows like this that are happening daily outside of the normal cadence. It's super important. So what you're doing is a really important piece of all that as well.
Yeah, we appreciate that. We appreciate that a lot. Yeah, it's funny because I remember we just put a post out yesterday. Like Framer, one of our recent sponsors, their CEO came on the show, and then I got pinged by their team last night, like, hey, like Cohen's interview's been picked up by the New Yorker, and like here's a point in the thing, which is so weird. But I guess we are seeing this sort of transformation into we need to find ways to reach our audience or customers, whatever it is, like in alternate means, right? Meet them where they are, for example.
Yeah, I interviewed a Wall Street Journal reporter, and she was saying, like, sometimes for a story, readers will ping her and be like, hey, I saw this interview on Twitter, or why aren't you covering it? And so there, platforms like yours are almost leading because you're more real time and you're in the mix a little bit more, you're in the ecosystem. So it's a really cool, I think it's a really cool evolution in media, and obviously you guys are at the center of it. And yeah, I think it's just super interesting.
Yeah. I mean, Zero Hash is big on X as well, right?
Yeah, like you guys have an X account. Yeah, you guys
are doing the playing the game correctly.
If anyone here is watching has the Zero Hash account, though, I would like to talk to you, sir or ma'am, because we have Zero Hash X, and it's actually one of those funny things where this person's still kind of active. I almost feel bad. I'm like, hey.
Oh, you do Zero Hash X, yeah, because 11 Labs recently changed it from 11 Labs. From 11 Labs IO to 11 Labs. And that was a big thing.
This keeps me up at night. I'm like,
I found the OG. So the person who holds it is Mini Me.
Are they active?
I know.
They're active.
It's Brisbane, Queensland, joined December 2009. They are active. To be
I know way too much about this person. Like, I'm like, please, like, and it's like, it's not that big of a deal, right? Like, but I'm like, it is a bit. I'm like, I want it.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
That's so funny. Yeah, you got to get on Mini Me dinosaur emoji because they have.
It's so confusing. I'll get an alert sometime, and I'm like, why are we in a mini dinosaur? And I'm like, oh. Like, here we go.
The profile picture is like a cyborg elephant.
I know. I know.
That is so funny. Okay, we got to get you
petition to get the Zero Hash back to
Zero Hash. Can you guys make a summons for them for me?
Oh, like an invitation, summoning to give
you a live. Yeah, we'll do a live transaction on the show. It'll be good to me.
Yeah, we should do that. Wait, what did you think about the summonings? Did you like it? We've been trying to experiment with them.
I freaking love the summoning. So I'm kind of like an Anglophile. I watch so many British period dramas that like I feel like I would thrive in like 19th century like London society. I would absolutely thrive. And so when I got the summons, I was like, me?
We pulled the copy from if you ever get invited to Buckingham Palace, the king will send you a letter summoning you. The reason, obviously, why you've been there, but we pulled the copy not straight from it, but similar. We kind of messed with it a bit, but the idea was there from the king to whoever's coming is being invited. That's the idea.
The digital halls.
I like how it's not a request. It's like all polite.
Yeah, I felt a bit weird sending the first one out. I was like, "Here's your summonings."
Yeah.
And I was like,
"We're sending this to like multi-million, $100 million, billion-dollar founders and investors." And a lot of them are like, "Oh, this is awesome."
Just directly, like you, Brian Armstrong.
Yeah.
Here 5 years early.
Yeah. Well, look, so keep us updated with Zero Hash. We always want, we love having you on the show. Love having Ed on the show.
Let us know when the book launches as well. Let's have a separate announcement for that, so we can get that out as well. But Katie, thank you so much for jumping on with us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Keep up the great work.
Appreciate it.
Have a good one. What a legend.
What a legend. Leave outdated business banking behind with Airwallex, the all-in-one financial platform built for the pace of modern business. Multi-currency accounts, corporate cards, expense management, online payments, all-in-one platform. Go to airwallex.com.
That was a clean read.
That was. Next on the show is
Jeff Lynn.
Oh, Jeff Lynn.
Next on the show. The chairman of everything, Jeff Lynn. chairman of Day Zero, chairman of Republic Europe, chairman of the Startup Coalition. We're going to be jumping in with GF at 12:45. That is 12 minutes away.
Boom.
Until then, we can jump back into Times Square, see what's going on. Before I do that, I want to tell you about our friends Polymarket. Polymarket is the world's largest prediction market. Stay informed and profit from your knowledge. Go to polymarket.com to do that. Up next on the roster, did we finish the news? We were on the Anthropic survey, but I feel like we got to the end of that.
Yeah, we did.
So let's get the Situation Room up by the one and only Polymarket team. This was, and for those who monitor the situation about monitoring the situation, you will know that the Situation Room was a topic discussed, I think, when the situation monitoring fad kind of started. There were a few suggestions around, there should be some place that a bunch of people can go and monitor the situation together, crack open a few beers, monitor a situation over here in this country, monitor a situation over there that's happening in this AI lab, just a bunch of people monitoring the situation. And a lot of these comments about this particular idea went viral. And who other to take advantage of that and launch an amazing marketing campaign than Polymarket? I mean, we saw what they did with the free grocery store, which is insane. And I do think that they'll be able to. It's probably one of the only firms that will be able to do this well, just obviously based off the nature of the business, and how adept they are with marketing stunts that are sort of culturally relevant.
They are like,
in that moment.
the kings of monitoring the situation, so they kind of have to.
I mean, where else do you monitor the situation other than Polymarket?
Super clever. So I feel like we have to give a shout out to Henry Shevlin, who in the end of Feb. So not that long ago. I thought this was actually longer, a long time ago, but actually wasn't. So Polymarket have moved super quickly on this. He said, he tweeted, idea, a bar called The Situation Room, like a sports bar, but for politics. Cable news, live feeds on the screen instead of football, atlases and copies of Jane's Defense Weekly on every table, multiple sets of risk and diplomacy behind the bar. This got 1.6 million views.
Big payout.
And it's hilarious that Polymarket have basically they just made this true. I love it. It's such a clever. It's so clever because they've just seen, they've monitored the situation. They've seen what's going, what's gone well, and they've just capitalized on that. Henry Shevlin's taken it super well. Obviously, as you would, he tweeted about 20 hours ago and said, "What the hell? Polymarket actually ran with my idea!" Exclamation mark. They said they even used my name. And then he said, I should get a bar tab at the very least at Polymarket.
A bar tab at the Situation Room.
Only,
love to see
only
that.
62,000 views because Polymarket's announcement got 30 million views, which is bonkers.
It's insane.
Yeah, so congrats to both of them. But dude, it's just so clever what they're doing. Yeah, I love it.
Stay on next to that.
Are you showing your screen?
Yeah. Sorry, I just switched to the wrong one. But there's a few reactions from.
Let's go through the pictures because the pictures are very cool.
Yeah, this is an example of what the Situation Room being monitored would look like.
And then go down to the other ones.
So we have, here's a lovely little view of the
click on
Polymarket.
it?
Well, I think they're quite large, so it'll crop it out.
Really? Let me see it on the stream. It looks fine, no?
Is it okay?
Does it not look fine?
No, I'm shaking your head.
Rough.
So you can
This
get
is
you get
cool
a,
as
you
well,
get a
the
rough
cigar and the whiskey.
some nice Polymarket branded.
A Polymarket branded.
So what do you call that?
It's like a napkin, I guess.
Yeah, a napkin.
Or
I feel like I'm not doing it.
a drink
enough.
square. Handkerchief.
Handkerchief, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't think they're blowing their nose with that.
A bit of napkin math going on.
But here we are, monitoring the situation, Washington DC, the Situation Room by Polymarket. You've also got Liquidity over here saying, on my way to monitor the situation for 12 straight hours with the boys. Another one here from Diego. For those who can't go there, there's always X. You are not addicted to X. You are monitoring the situation. True that, Diego. I feel your pain.
Indeed.
Anyway, very snazzy indeed. Let's jump into... So this is quite joking, I guess, relevant in the same way. Kalshi's board meeting ended in push-ups the other day. This went pretty viral. It's so funny. You've got Alfred Lin, a bunch of the Sequoia team, a bunch of the Paradigm team, basically doing push-ups. I think we have some volume as well, actually.
It's pretty quick.
Yeah, I'm just trying to judge the form
Happy
here.
Wednesday.
Far right has got some excellent form right at the end there. Getting to
Yeah.
ooh, and then form here on the left is not great.
No, you can tell who does push-ups and who doesn't. Who gets in the gym.
Yeah, you know.
Who gets after it and who doesn't. Alfred Lin does not look like he gets after it, unfortunately. Come on, pal.
We'd have to
Get back in the gym.
get back in the game.
Is it
Someone retweeted.
Is
this
it
as
Keith
well.
Boyd who tweeted at the end of the year? He was like, "I've spent 350 every day this year. I've gone to the gym." Was it Keith Boyd? It was some
I
like
didn't see that.
it was some like pretty like important investor. I think it was him. I can't remember. But he showed his like calendar, and every day his calendar like ticked off. Like he has like an app, I guess, like a gym tracker.
Yeah.
And showed his workouts, and then showed like how many days in the gym he'd been in the gym,
day?
and he went every day.
That's insane. Is that good?
I don't think so.
Maybe you could go and run or walk.
I think. Well, that's
or
the thing. It's just like,
cycle or something.
dude, well, you're going to the gym, but like you're not actually trying that hard because you're in the gym every day. Like you don't want
you
to come in like and have DOMs every day because you're going to like you don't want to be tired after a
Yeah.
gym session because you're going to be.
But
doing
then
it every day.
you could do like bro splits where it's like
Just do a quick 30 minutes.
and then your rest
like,
day is, I guess, cycling or
Yeah.
walking on the treadmill, like an up incline walk.
Every day he has walked through a gym doors.
Well, I mean, that in itself is impressive, to be fair. You know,
Yeah.
people sometimes say the hardest part of the whole gym thing is just getting through that door. You know, just getting off that couch, getting in that gym,
Yeah, is that for you?
picking some heavy things up and putting them down again. You'd love to see it.
Anyway, yeah. So Kaushi's board. I don't know. Some of them aren't doing it justice.
You need to see some better push-ups.
Let's move on to this is hilarious. Building the biggest woman-only community in San Francisco.
This was so interesting.
You get approved. You get in. You get to know women you should have known for years. If this sounds like you, comment.
Can I just
It's
say?
got 500,000 views.
Yeah. I did the rounds.
Which is great.
So let's just share the screen. Can I just say in this whole, we don't really lean into it that much because it's all just usually like a clickbait thing, but the whole Europe versus US like sort of competition thing, like, you know, it's like only in SF would you get this, or only in one thing I will say is that these weird where like dating related things, or these weird like I'm gonna make a woman in the community but I'm a guy. You know, who was that guy that did the I'm doing like speed dating for single co-founders post YC, all that weird stuff. You don't get any of that here.
No.
I don't remember seeing any of this sort of like,
because it's always about Euromaxing.
yeah, I guess like
Focused on something else.
gender densities might be slightly more favorable for men in San Francisco compared to women. So I guess there's an incentive more to do it. But yeah, you just don't see any of this. I don't know, weird stuff. I've not fully watched this video, by the way, to be fair. I only saw the start of it, so I do want to have a look. It's only 25 seconds.
I moved from Paris to San Francisco 1 month ago, and I'm building an app that I'm not allowed to
Just said all that, and he's French. He's from Europe.
use. I left behind a 7-figure company and came all the way here to build a woman-only app as a man. So here's the deal. I'm giving myself 1 week to put 1,000 women in the same group. So I'm creating the biggest community of women in San Francisco, and of course if I don't, I have to create an OnlyFans account and start posting on it. I moved from Paris to San Francisco.
What on
It just ends super quickly as well. That's great.
Yeah, I don't know what the plan is with this, to be fair.
So funny. 510 in the time that we've been on this tweet, it's gone up 10,000 views.
Wait, what? Really?
Yeah. It's
That's
gaining
insane.
mad momentum.
Maybe he's picking up against it. When did he post it? 12. Oh, literally yesterday. Oh, that's insane. Yeah, it'll be running. It'll be running right now.
Yeah.
But that is Aris. Aris _Segug. is creating the biggest woman. I don't know how'd you say that. Gueg. Seguig. Creating building the biggest woman-only community in San Francisco. So if you want to
congrats to him,
join this Parisian man's female-only group, then just go ahead and comment below on that video, and you can get yourself in that group.
Let's talk about, so PG was featured on the show on Tuesday when we had AI Daniil on, but this is also quite funny. This is awesome, actually, not funny. It's very, very cool. I went to visit a Subdial in London, which is a watch shop in London. I can't remember where it is. I feel like I've been as well.
I've never been.
I can't remember.
Never heard of it.
Cool place with some good watches. I bought something so strange that till I saw it, I'd never have believed it existed. An Ellipse pocket watch. I kid you not. It's pretty gangster.
Paul Graham's out here buying Pateks. That's insane.
They don't go on your wrist. It goes
recently,
in a pocket.
I think it didn't get deleted, but it got lost somewhere. But he had a tweet recently about it. He tweeted out, these are some of the brands that I love. It was just like, I'm just gonna tweet out.
And just listed a bunch of
brands, and one of them was Ridge, and some
killer company.
Well, so some guy commented like, "Let's go!" Like Ridge wallets everywhere, and then Paul Graham replied like, "Ooh, sorry, I meant like this Ridge," and it's like a $100,000 bottle of wine, like a Ridge wine, and then someone reposted like, "Dude just got tax bracket mogged publicly," because the guy obviously thought he meant. When I first read it, I thought he meant Ridge wallets as well. But he meant like a niche brand of wine. But is like incredibly expensive, and then
that's hilarious.
Actually followed up.
I mean, Ridge Wallets is a great company anyway.
They are
over 100 million in revenue. I think
doing incredibly well.
Before we have our next guest on, Framer, build better sites faster. The all-in-one platform where enterprise teams design, build, and ship production-ready websites. No dev handoff, no bottlenecks, no creative compromises. Go to framer.com/ETN. Next on the show we have Jeff Lynn. Jeff, can you hear us?
I can hear you guys. Thanks for having me. Really good. Thanks so much. How you guys doing?
Yeah, doing really well. Thanks for joining us. We've been stoked about this. We when we introed you, we used the intro to essentially, we came up with the name the chairman of everything, because we're just stunned with the amount of insane companies that
you must be a busy man.
You're helping steer, like good friends from Startup Coalition, like Republic Europe, and obviously the Opus and what is now the Day Zero Fund as well. So congratulations.
Oh, well, thanks. Thanks so much. And yeah, I don't know, I didn't necessarily set out to sort of be multi-chairman, but I've had the chance to get involved in and, help build some really, really interesting organizations. And Day Zero is the latest, and I'm stoked to be doing it.
Really cool, man. Well, look, thank you so much for giving us your time. We'd love to hear more. Maybe for the stream and the viewers at home, we'd love to hear maybe an introduction on yourself and also Day Zero and the mission. We did a little bit this morning just before you came on when we were introing the docket, but would love to hear it from you.
Yeah, absolutely. So super quick on me. I started my career as a lawyer, first in New York, then London. 2009, together with my co-founder, Carlos Silva, we set up what became Cedars, first regulated equity crowdfunding platform in the world. Built that out over the long pre-launch period, navigating regulation in the early days of fintech. Launched 2012, grew year on year, every year for 10 years, sold to a fantastic American business called Republic in 2022. And ever since then, I have stayed on, chaired their European business, continued to support and help the business going forward. I've also helped set up, together with Mike Butcher many years ago, the Startup Coalition, used to be called Codec, which is a nonprofit advocacy and policy group for tech startups and scale-ups. I'm passionate about startups. I'm passionate about the policy around them, and this has helped on a number of fronts to get government to support the ecosystem as it's grown through the years. But look, I've gotten to know the team over at Opus, which is the team that sort of helped, give launch to Day Zero. I've gotten to know them over the past year or so, and we started talking about, what they've built, which is a really, really exciting, really, really substantive sort of network of founders. And part of what interests me so much about it is there are so many founders communities out there, or have been, and they're usually quite ephemeral. They're quite like, they come, they go. Like it's not, building stickiness and building something that's really first rate in terms of content, in terms of community, is really hard. The Opus folks have done it. They've done it brilliantly. Sam and Ken and Kerry and the whole team there. And so they were starting to think about, what would a venture arm to this look like? How can we capitalize on and support some of these great businesses through an investment arm? And so we spent the last sort of 6 months or so bouncing ideas around, thinking about kind of what to do. And out of that emerged Day Zero, which is the venture platform. We're starting out very simple with a sort of a syndicate. We've got some great investors lined up behind us. We're going to invite Opus members and others who want to invest alongside us as well to do so. We're going to go out there over the next sort of 6 months, year, do kind of 8 to 10 deals, pre-seed, seed kind of level, and see if the thesis works. See if both building on the community that Opus has built from origination perspective, and then leveraging that community to help drive support and success for the businesses post-investment is as powerful as we think it'll be. And then we'll see where it goes from there.
Awesome. I love it. Is it just investments in Opus community businesses?
Not just in Opus members, and we're very much structured to be as flexible and as opportunistic as possible. But our thought process is that our competitive advantage is through the network, both the actual members, but the sort of extended, who do they bring to events, who, the sort of second and third degree connection to the network, that we can get to know some founders earlier and deeper than many other early stage investors can. And so we're expecting that, a good chunk of our deals will come through that, but we're open to applications. We're looking at deals on their merits. And if something comes in completely out of left field that looks awesome, we'll do it.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I think we should mention, you mentioned all the great things that Opus have been doing for the ecosystem. And we should definitely mention that those guys helped us set up our launch party.
Yeah, we had a launch party in the London Bridge office.
Yeah,
awesome.
Down the road from London Bridge. Remember, we were trying to get it set up with another venture company, but we were slightly oversubscribed. I pinged Sam, and Sam said, "No cap on numbers, no cap on time. It has to finish. Just have it here." So yeah, shout out to Sam and Ken for all the amazing work that they're doing. But let's talk more about the fund then. So I know from the memo that we were sort of looking over the other day, it's concentrated bets very early on. Talk to us about this thesis. Talk to us about what the plan is there.
Yeah, I think the idea here very much is sort of twofold. One bit pretty conventional, the other bit maybe a little less so. The conventional bit is, we all know that power law returns dominate the early stage investment ecosystem. And I say that, coming from a crowdfunding background in which I've made 300, 400 very diversified investments and seen a great overall return on my portfolio. So I do think there are different strategies that can apply. I'm not, uniquely behind the return the fund kind of model, but finding one or two real outliers is what makes a big difference. And, if you're going to do a relatively sort of small group of investments, the key is, can we find some of the really best founders at the earliest stages? I'm a huge believer that when you're investing in pre-seed, investing at seed, it is all about the founder and team. I mean, we'll do all the traditional analysis and on market, on product, and the traditional diligence, all super important as sort of confirmatory factors. But ultimately, if we're identifying great founders who are just going to keep hitting their heads against the wall, or else pivot around the wall, whatever they need to do to make their business a success, that's where really, really significant returns come. So that's one part of this thesis. And then the second part is this kind of community element. And again, this is something I draw a little bit from the crowdfunding world, but in a very different way, which is that, if you think of traditional ventures being maybe a couple of people with, partners, venture firm, whatever it may be, significant angels with, kind of sit on the board and provide deep, extensive input and advice. That is one type of support that can help a business grow, and that's awesome. But there's also a lot of support that can come from a community. And so certainly we talk about community origination and what I was saying earlier, meet through the Opus network, meeting people, meeting founders, meeting others, to look at from an investment perspective. But then post-investment, if you've got a community like the Opus community around you, what value can we harness from them to help support you as a business going forward? And it's not always the easiest, and there's sometimes a bit of a noise to signal ratio, and you make the wrong intros and you don't get exactly the right support. And there's definitely plenty of room for trial and error there. But ultimately, we think that if we've got 8, 10 really good companies that we get to know pretty well through the investment process, and then we can go out, to that network we have and draw on their support to help those companies grow, that's a winning method.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Seems to be sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, the kind of early bets, and you're talking about, it's basically all about the people, right? And the founder or the founding team, early days. Talk to us specifically about what you guys are looking for in the founders. Like, what's those? It's the classic question, but it's interesting to understand from from someone else. It's cool.
Yeah, look, it's a great question, and it's also a super difficult one to quantify. I mean, it's an old. There's always an element of sort of it when you see it. But I can probably break that down into a couple things. I mean, probably the most sort of the kind of clearest bit of it is what I often talk about as sort of founder market fit or founder product fit. People always talk about product market fit as the sort of byword for an early stage business. I've always had a slightly different view on that, which is that the market will come, but what we need, are terrible markets to be in for various reasons, but that's the minority. For the most part, what makes a really, really interesting early stage business is when you have an amazing founder, but they're doing the right business for what they do. They've got the right pedigree, the right background, the right passion, the right focus. I mean, I always say in building Cedars through the years, I started a fintech business with a heavy kind of legal element to it. I come from a financial law background. It sort of matched well. I'm not a gamer. I understand fully how powerful and big the game, the gaming world is. But if I'd gone out and started a gaming business, nobody should have backed me because it's just not where my passion and my ability lie. And so a big part of what I always look for, and I think we'll be looking for, is, are these the right people to be bringing, whatever the product they're building is to the market. So that's a sort of, relatively easily explainable element. But there's a lot of judgment there. There's a lot of art. There's a lot of, are these people the kind of people with the tenacity, with the creativity to be able to face what comes at them, adapt to all the many hurdles. I mean, I was joke. Somebody once asked me in an interview to talk about whether there were any times I really had to fight fires as an entrepreneur. And, my answer was, maybe I can tell you about the couple of times when I wasn't fighting fires, because that was what most of my job was in those early years. And so, I think it is about people who really have that genuine entrepreneurial mindset and orientation. And I should say, maybe slightly controversially, but I'm not actually a big subscriber to the new sort of 996 philosophy on this. You have to be a hard worker. I mean, nobody who's lazy is gonna get ahead here. But it's not just about the hours. It's not just about putting in the time. And actually, one of the things that the advent of Gen AI is doing for us is meaning that you can actually, work's getting more and more efficient. It may take fewer hours to build a lot of these things, but it is about that tenacity and that adaptability. And it is one of those things where you meet founders and you just sort of can see it.
If we can, I'd love to, and it's a luxury that we're in this position to ask you, Jeff, but we'd love to ask about how has the time changed, do you think, for these founders compared to when you were building Cedars and what it's like now, right? Because it's something we discuss on the show a lot, like the barrier to entry is so low now in terms of like the tools to enter the market. Like how do you think it's all changed?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's probably changed, both for the better and for the worse in some ways from a founder's perspective, because as you say, I mean, the barriers to entry is so much lower. The number of things that you can do. I mean, the number of things I just find I do in my day-to-day that, used to take a day's worth of work, half a day's worth of work, maybe bring an advisor in, and, I'm putting together in 5 or 10 minutes now as a result of the tools that are available at virtually no cost. So how far you can get on any individual bit of capital, how well you and effectively you can use your time. I mean, I look back to the early days building Cedars, and if the one thing I would do differently, plenty of tactical things I would do differently, but strategically, one thing I'd do differently would be to try to make better use of my time. I spent so much time on so many things that in retrospect just weren't the most efficient use. And I think that the tools available today, I mean, can't stop you from making poor decisions, but they can help focus you and get you spending your time on the things that are most fit. So time efficiency, capital efficiency, vastly different than 15 years ago. Flip side is heck of a lot more competitive, and in the conversations we used to have back in 2009, 2010, 2011, in some ways seem, kind of quaint, because it was like, could the UK build unicorns? People were asking back then, name some UK unicorns. And we'd be like, well, there's Skype. And that was kind of the list. And so, there was just this complete sort of open field. Those questions are now gone. People know we can do it. And there are loads and loads of really, really good people trying. And I think standing out from the crowd as an entrepreneur, particularly with AI, I mean, I tell you, the decks I see, the people come through, such a high proportion today are, using an AI twist on this or on that. How do you really stand out? How do you show that what you're doing is going to rise above the surface when there's so much of the barriers are so low to entry? So in some ways, I envy being a founder today. In other ways, us old timers may have had it a little easier.
It's very humble of you to say, but it's something we discuss on the show all the time. There's never been more opportunities, but how do you get through the noise? How do you focus on something? Jeff, we've got about 1 minute left. Would love to hear where can we point people for day zero? Where can we try and drive some traffic? How can we support in that?
Absolutely, much appreciated. I think twofold. On founders, please come check out the Day Zero site, dayzeroinvestments.com. With a very simple, straightforward sort of preliminary application process. My colleague Alameda is going to be looking at all the deals as they come in. She's wonderful. Came out of Octopus, has done has a great pedigree and track record. And so we'd love to see any deals that come through. And then likewise, if you're interested in investing, if you're interested in early stage investing, whether you've ever done it before or not, sign up to our investor community. You can then go a little further and look at investing with us, but you don't have to. You can just follow our content, see what we're investing in, learn a bit. And, I'm a big believer that the more capital that comes into this market, the more great entrepreneurs, will start and can get funded. So whether you're looking to raise money or whether you want to learn about deploying money, come check us out.
There you go. Heard it here first. Thank you so much. We appreciate the time.
Cheers, Jeff. It's great to meet you.
Good
Have
stuff.
a great one, man. Ciao.
See you soon. Before we have our next guest on, the infrastructure of the on-chain world, Base is built to empower builders, creators, and people everywhere to build apps, grow businesses, create what they love, and earn on-chain. Go to base.org. Next on the show, we have Oliver Vince, co-founder at Basecamp Research. Oliver, can you hear us? We're good. We're good. Thank you very much for spending the time. You must be a busy guy at the moment.
Happy Thursday, is it? Is that right?
Yeah. Thursday, 1 p.m. So,
yeah, good. We're all rolling forward. We all knew that.
Mate, welcome to the show. We've been pumped with this conversation. Definitely one of the more...
You're doing some world-changing stuff, man.
Yeah.
Esoteric, I think is the word, yeah.
Can you... Because you will do a much better job at explaining this whole thing.
Yeah, we tried to, but we just kind of started flinging NVIDIA and Anthropic, and we were like, this guy's important, basically.
Can you break it down for us just a lot better than we can?
I'm not sure we're important, but definitely. The very simple idea, right, is where large language models have been used to program text, program language. We're trying to program biology, right? Program DNA. And so we've trained a GPT-4 scale model on literally just DNA sequences. Mm-hmm. So basically saying, look, can you write a sentence for me in DNA? And then ultimately, can you do more cool and cooler things with it to lead to sort of designing new medicines for different people in different ways. But ultimately what you're trying to do is build models that can design medicine, basically where you can write in what's wrong, write in the disease biology, and outcomes some kind of medicine for it, right? And I saw your guys' piece on the Australian dog story the other day, right? I thought it was really cool. But basically it's like that idea, but taken up to, a trillion, I guess.
At scale. Because I remember one of the rebuttals to that were yes, this is cool. Again, I'm no expert in this space, as you can tell, but there was someone who knew a lot more than me who had replied to that tweet saying, surprisingly enough, this actually like this isn't that hard to do. Like at this scale, on a one-to-one basis, like yes, someone could come up with this thing. The main issue and the problem is delivering it in a cost-efficient way at scale to the population. Is that, are we in, you know, for you guys, is that sort of?
So taking that example, right? So what happened there was they used ChatGPT to like come up with the reasoning logic, right? So it's basically, here are the steps you would need to take. Again, I'm not an expert on this story specifically, but like, here are the steps you'd need to take. And it's like, they're all broadly good ideas. And then basically like that guy was able to use different models to basically like do the different steps, right? So that's basically where our partnership with Anthropic is, right? Can you use Claude to come up with like complex treatment plans for complex diseases, complex interventions, right? And then the bit where you actually have to design the biology, right? So this is a bit that ChatGPT can't do, Claude can't do. They can't design the actual DNA. So when you're translating between, I mean, at the moment they can translate between different languages, right? They translate English to French, English to German, whatever. What we want to do is translate English to, or any language, to DNA. And that basically allows you to go from the point where you've got a patient. So one of our examples is in antibiotics. Like the patient comes in with a really nasty infection. Claude figures out exactly what that infection is, gives it to our model, and our model makes an antibiotic, right? Custom for that patient, like in real time. So that's kind of, and you're trying to like industrialize that at scale, and you're trying to make it fully programmable. We've had some great successes so far, but it's sort of like, you know, one of those we're much earlier than we are in the natural language space in biology.
Yeah. That's, to me, that sound like that working at scale sounds like the sort of biological AGI moment for.
But I think the analogy that's kind of cool, rather than like, people think AI drug discovery, right? They think, oh, if I've got a cough or a cold, I'm going to have a robot where I can just, you know, press a button.
Yeah, make a drug.
And make a drug, right? And that's not going to happen, realistically. Right? It happens for your dog, but it's not going to happen for humans. But what is going to happen is for the much more complex diseases, right? So cancer, genetic disease, like serious infections, people are already in hospital. And then eventually like Alzheimer's, all those sorts of things as well. People are already in hospital for months at a time. They already have complex interventions. And a lot of patients like aren't eligible for drugs, or there aren't drugs available, or like they can't be done in time, or the treatments are too complex, all those sorts of challenges. You're basically working with that sort of patient population, not you're like, I've got a bit of a cold today, I'll have a new pill, right?
Yeah. That
makes sense. It trivializes it, but like,
yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's good for us to take it on board. What, like, how do you even go about starting this? Like, what is the founding story here? Like, how does this get set up?
So myself and my co-founder both were doing PhDs. I was doing mine in brain cancer research, and he was trying to make HIV drugs using like by genetic engineering. So like kind of in the weeds, right? Nerds at heart. The other part to all of it, but I guess we started this, to tell you like the full story, he was trying to design 7 genes to make a HIV drug, right? So, but 7 genes is about 7,000 letters of DNA that were eventually going to make a HIV drug, right? And basically he was trying to do it using his brain. And I was saying, look, you're never going to be able to do that. We can't speak DNA. 7,000 is already too long. I can build a computer that can do it. Long story short, I couldn't because we didn't have enough data. But at the same time, we were like, we'd seen the OpenAI scaling laws paper. We started the company like 2 or 3 months after that. And we were basically like, look, let's go build the internet of biology, essentially. And so we set up expeditions. We went around the world setting up like tents in ice caps and stuff to basically like get much more data at scale. And it's like a combination of all those different things that basically leads you to like, hey, look, we can build the internet of biology, and then we can achieve all this stuff.
I think the internet of biology is such a cool line.
I was going to say that should be
and it kind of looks into the future. And I wanted to ask, like, what do you see the future of, you know, I guess biology being for the normal human being who you know might have something wrong with them? What does the kind of the future of, I guess, medicine look like for them?
Well, I guess that you can kind of try it already, right? So you can go into Claude or ChatGPT or any of these, and you can try, you know. And I hope most people never have to interface with one of these systems, right? Like this is not going to be a consumer app. This is going to be like healthcare system specific. And so I hope most people don't have to deal with it. But basically, like it's going to be a system where you go in and you talk to it, and it sort of figures it out itself in a way that if you talk to Claude now, it can figure out sensible steps the doctor and the nurse can take. And it's never, in my mind, going to replace the doctors and the nurses or anything like that. It's just going to give them more options, more optionality. Like if you go into any hospital system right now, it's stretched. Like the number of people who are eligible for treatments is so low. Like this is just like a massive, imagine it like a super smart biological professor that like you say, oh, I've got this weird new disease, I don't know what it is. It will A, tell you what it is, and B, give you something to do about it, right? And you can, of course, you can assess whether that's a good idea or not, but that's the basic idea.
Yeah, so equipping them with the tools to, I guess, just sort of 10x or like 100x, basically the pace they're moving at. What like within that, like, because maybe it was Tuesday's show, I can't remember, but we discussed. It was Tuesday's show because it was the AI dog cancer thing, but then we kind of pulled it back to the health app that GPT had released. I think it was just called Health GPT, maybe, or GPT Health. I can't remember. And there were a lot of things around there where people weren't willing to. There's a trust divide naturally with like, am I going to sit here and believe everything this LLM is spitting out at me? How do we see that progressing? I guess. I'm realizing you're saying it's not a consumer application really, so this would be more. In the
I mean, my advice would always be like go to a doctor, right? Like you're always going to want your healthcare professional. So like imagine, and same take software coding, right? Claude Code, right? You still want your senior software engineer to be using Claude Code, right? You don't want any dummy to be using it. And the same thing is true in healthcare, right? If you've got something wrong, go to a doctor. And the hope is that they will be able to employ these tools to their best effect, right? But you also want to trust that doctor when they say this is not true, right? This is hallucinating and it's nonsense. And I think it's only via that sort of already trusted cycle we're going to get anywhere, honestly, because like it's not a good idea to have people doing this too much. Themselves, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's that thing that was like the MRI scanner. Have you seen the meme of like it's like a doctor in front of a computer, and then in the background, like the foreground, sorry, it's a guy going to an MRI scanner, and the doctor's just got Claude up, like 1 sec, bro. Like, I'm just using Claude, which is where we don't want to go.
Like they can't do everything, and it can't do the human part, the compassion part. It can't like look in someone's eyes and connect. But like there's a hell of a lot of hospital work. And a hell of a lot of diseases and interventions that we're just nowhere near good at. And we have line of sight, very clear line of sight to these biology models being good at, right? And I guess with all of these things, it's like it is research at the end of the day. What you're looking to do is prove out something that isn't done, where we have a clear benchmark, right? People are ill. That is a problem. We know what we want to achieve. That's the end state. And like we want to walk back from that to like, okay, what are the technical steps to get there? But it's one of those like, goals that I mean, I'm biased, right? But I think society should support, like, just because it's cool, like fusion, like materials, like the other like sciences, because if it works, like it's going to be transformational, and there's a high chance no, I don't think there's a high chance it doesn't, but like in different domains, there are things that like, different probabilities of success.
Yeah, there's always, I mean, that's a nice segue into, you guys were named by the NVIDIA CEO, Jensen Huang, as being part of that kind of $2 billion investment into the UK to support kind of UK AI. Talk to us a little bit about that. Obviously that's like that's a strong case for what you just mentioned, like, invest in this kind of stuff because it genuinely can change the lives of lots and lots of humans.
So I think there's in this space there's like two challenges, right? Like once we built a technology today that could be like a service app for lots of different customers that are doing lots of things right now, but that kind of is something we should do, but it sort of distracts you from the like ultimate goal. I feel like we are in a very fortunate and privileged position to be able to see where these technologies are going. And like, to be clear, like NVIDIA recognized that. So they spent a year before Jensen's announcement working with us, like embedded in Basecamp.
Really? Wow.
Before they made that announcement, right? So like they see it, like Anthropic sees it. There are a bunch of others that see it. And I feel like that's kind of a good signal that we're onto something. And if you think of the other people who've like been public about saying this, right? It's like Demis, Mark Zuckerberg, like a bunch of others have been public about saying it. And I think it's because they have line of sight. It doesn't mean it's guaranteed on a certain time frame or whatever, but it's definitely worth prosecuting on.
Yeah. There's like a tangible end goal that you can actually see and relate to, I guess, right? Like that's like, it's not as elusive as just saying like AGI. It's like there will be like
exactly.
lives saved. There will be interesting. What like you mentioned, it's slightly going back a bit in the conversation, but it just sounds super interesting. You mentioned that you guys were like setting up tents in like really sort of rogue areas. I think you mentioned like an ice cap. Did you say? Was this like some like an expedition you guys were doing, or this is why was that? Why was that happening?
Yeah, so I mean, we were in the lab doing PhDs, and personally it was okay, but like didn't enjoy that lifestyle too much.
Yeah.
And so we basically started these expeditions, like different places. So where we would, so that one, the ice cap one, we basically packed a molecular biology lab into like 9-liter boxes, put it in the back of our sledge, and then spent a month like basically dragged it across the ice cap, set up base camp, which is what base camp research is actually named after, obviously. And then like we're just like basically going to hot springs and like looking at dirt and like, you know, like, but the revelation honestly was you sit there in the tent freezing your ass off, and then you plug the laptop in and it basically says like, you know, 70% of everything you found is completely unknown to science, and you're like, oh.
Nice.
But like
that's a good thing, though.
Right?
But
We knew what we wanted to do, right? So Glenn was trying to make the HIV drug, and you know what you want to do, and you're like, I'm not sure exactly how this fits together, but at that stage, but like you can sort of start to like, it's definitely interesting enough to be pushing on, basically.
Yeah. And if you can map that 70% out, that's the goal.
So we now work in 31 countries. So this is like Malawi, Cameroon, Chile, Argentina, Antarctica, like all over the world, with researchers who are collecting this data at scale. And obviously we've launched a trillion gene atlas, which is basically an ambition to go to 1 trillion genes, which is will be about 5,000 times the size of the AlphaFold public database that everyone in the space, which gives us a completely new like view of biology and should yield some completely new like steps forward. I mean, there's a whole lot to go into there, but like it's just it's a pretty cool idea that's, you know, and I think the other cool thing about that honestly is like we're working with the parties on the ground. So like every single training token in our models has like a consent form, right? Like an approved consent from either the government or the local landowner or whatever it is, which just for me, it's like pretty cool because everyone else has not been necessarily doing that.
Yeah. What on the government point, has there been like good support from, it sounds like regionally, yes, in the places that you operate, but like, have they just been very open to this and very hands-on with it?
Yeah, I mean, basically there are people who want to study biodiversity who are very skilled, who know their local area better than we could ever do. And there are two options, right? Like you fly in teams of scientists and you try and do it better than them, or you work with them and you train them and basically, obviously the training like is much more scalable, much more like fair, and obviously you just get much more buy-in. And I think the evidence here, right, is if we weren't doing something that was building trust and doing good by them, Basecamp wouldn't exist, right? We would have been shut down a long time ago. So it's about like actually engaging with people and actually doing things properly so that you set yourself up for long-term success, I guess.
Yeah. I wanted to quickly ask, I know have you got a hard stop, or can I ask?
All good.
Okay, awesome. I wanted to ask about working with Anthropic. Anthropic's obviously been in the news about how their AI models are being used. Do you guys get any kind of exposure to that? How do they? I'm not asking for like a scoop or anything. What I'm asking for is like how do they react, and how is it working with them on something that's so frontier to kind of human development, right?
I think things that are public that are pretty cool, right, is that Claude Code is like priority in terms of development. Then they've then called like healthcare, Claude for life sciences is just behind that, right? And so basically they understand the need to speak the language of biology, and they see that the need to do that is going to be massive scale data sets. And so it's pretty natural collaboration. I think what Basecamp's always looking for basically are partners, like big partners who we can say, look, we want to do this, we want to go this way. They look at it, they scrutinize it, and they're like, you know what? Like, that's a pretty good idea. And like, it doesn't have to be, I guess it doesn't have to be guaranteed, right? Like, it doesn't have to be, they're not like saying, this is the only way to go. They're also doing other stuff. But it's just really nice to find people who are like philosophically aligned and philosophically up for doing things like this.
That's super interesting.
It seems like, I guess from all the leaders, like I used to be, it was only after watching like the Thinking Game where it kind of shifted I was very much of the mindset where I was like, no, it just needs to go. Like, let's not sit and stop and understand. Let's just, more like a Musk mindset or a Sam Altman mindset, right? But it was only after seeing, the Thinking Game, and then I guess like the the response from Davos with Dario and Demis kind of saying, like they're a lot more, what seems to be, I guess, publicly facing, like a lot more like humanitarian. They are the people that would buy into something like this, I guess, more so than their peers. Like, is there anything? I mean, like, yeah, how do you see, like, will you guys think you'll work with maybe like DeepMind in the future? Is that already maybe a possibility? Like, because they seem like the ones that would be leaning to this, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, basically, I always say we're open to partnering with lots of people. Like, I think the fundamental view I have is that there is so much opportunity space here, right? It's like, you know, the early days of the GPT series before anyone was paying attention, right? And you're basically saying, look, we've got this thing that can, you know, degrade plastic, can cure, you know, disease. It can like make crops that are stable. It can like, you know, make manufacturing, like, all those different things that you can do with biology. I mean, biology is the ultimate technology, right? It's the greatest thing we've ever learned. And AI for me is just an interface to us to be able to use it, right? I mean, okay, just to give an analogy, right? Biology is like an alien spaceship lands on Earth tomorrow with like super, like, you know, the bit in Terminator, right? When the technology is so frontier that like everyone's like, whoa, I want to go and learn from that. Except it's out there already. It's like just in our planet, and no one bothers to go and look at it, right? No one says, you know what, we only know like 1% or less than 1% of this amazing technology. Let's just sit around and not go and look at it, right?
Yeah, go build consumer apps.
Yeah, build a to-do list or something.
It's kind of like, with these things, right? Like, you're trying to find people for whom this is like the thing they want to do, like they will do this regardless of what the setup is. Because it's just so cool. But then you need to like be able to see where it's going, I guess.
Well, you mentioned when we talked to the Nominal team, who we talked to them about their hiring, and they were like, we just want to find mission-driven people. And you mentioned, you know, if you're smart enough to go and work in a company like Nominal or Basecamp or whatever, it's like you're doing humanity, not just yourself, you're doing humanity a disservice by going to build the office for the CFO or whatever, you know, the SaaS for the CFO or whatever. Just go and help humanity instead of making a profit kind of thing.
It was like a founders fund article. It's like, choose hard missions, or like choose the mission that you were born to do, in a way where like, you know, if you were some sort of expert researcher for a particular disease, and then you go and like, I don't know, sell footballs. That's such a dreadful comparison, but you know what I mean? It makes sense.
But it's in like, you're trying to do things where, you know, every startup says they're never going to fail, right? Like lots of them do, and that's just the reality of life. And so like, let's discount the pitching and all that sort of stuff, and just basically take it back to basics, right? If you work on something for the next 10 years of your life and it doesn't work, like, was it A, really fun, and B, one of the coolest things you could have ever done? And there were like, you know, like, it's basically like you look back and you're like, you know what, didn't work, but it was definitely a good idea. Well, you know, it was a cool idea. Right. Then there is also a chance that people in the space, you know, do whatever, right, and become very successful, right? And so I think you need to be comfortable with the downside before even starting a startup, before even joining a startup, right? Just engage with it, right? Like, okay, the downside is it disappears. All right, well, dealt with that, get that in the side, and now let's go, right? And I think that clarifies your like head space a bit. And I think some people get themselves wound up in spirals of like, oh, what if, right? Like, just, this is cool. Like, there are loads of cool things you can work on. If you're young and you have like ambition and you're smart, like, just go and do it. I mean, I think we're always remarking about is like, why didn't more people not just wake up in the morning and just try things?
Yeah, do the thing.
Yeah, you can just do things. I love it. I think we should end there, because we're already 5 minutes over, and that was a cool thing to end on.
That's a cool like closing credit.
Mic drop type thing.
So good.
Dude, thank you so much for spending the time with us. We appreciate it. I'm sure your time is very, very valuable. So
and we'll have you back. Just let us know.
Have a great day.
Cheers, Oliver. See you soon. Have a good one. Ciao.
Great to meet you. Awesome. Leave us Disney Business Banking behind with Airwallex, the all-in-one financial platform built for the pace of modern business, multi-currency accounts, corporate cards, expense management, online payments, all in one platform. Go to airwallex.com.
Do it. Go and do it.
Next on the show, who is next on the show?
Jonah and Aurelius.
Oh,
the boys.
Yes. Here we go.
From should we get the Bollingers out?
Yeah. Let's put them
Bollingers out for the boys.
I'm just gonna put mine there. Oh no. Oh no.
Can we just give it another close up again, just so people know? This is what's the exact? An Aurora XETN 007
Can you see the Polymarket hat as well?
Bollinger bottled. I can on the screen.
Is that good? Yeah, does that work? Yes, let's go. Next on the show, we have Jonah Lowenstein and Aurelius. Huh?
It's blocking your face.
What's blocking my face? Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Wait, what?
Looks great. Let's just block
Put
Jonah's
this.
face out.
Oh, put the bottle the other side.
There we go.
Boom.
We should probably get the launch video up.
Are we good? Is that good? Everyone can see?
Nice. We should probably get that launch video
Yeah,
up.
let's do it.
Just we can play that quickly.
Some sunnies. So yesterday they came out and launched something cool. That was a wicked interview. That was so cool.
Yeah,
What a
really
beast.
cool guy. Shout out to Oliver.
Such a nice dude as well.
Do you know where it is? I'm trying to search.
Just go on to Jonah.
The specific at.
Here you go. Yeah, at Jonah, and then SAULLOW. If you want to follow Jonah, that's his app.
Boom. There you go. Let's do it. How are we? Okay. Second Renaissance. Here we are. We're good to go.
It's just loading.
Doing a cheeky load. There we go. Look at that.
At Aurora, we're on a mission to help you make the most of every minute.
Very Alex McDonald coded.
Yeah, this is. You can tell Alex has a theme with it.
Yeah, he's put his touch on that.
Yeah.
In history, creation was attributed to God.
Oh, this is Jonah's voice. This is Jonah.
Dude, Jonah's in the video.
Oh, crazy. This is my initial reaction. Oh, boom. There he is.
But still within boundaries, each person confined to one discipline, one identity. Then came the Renaissance, laying the foundation for a new kind of human, the uomo universale, the universal man. Da Vinci didn't just paint, he engineered, studied anatomy, dissected light. Centuries later, Jobs stood in that same tradition, weaving calligraphy into computing, technology into storytelling, human familiarity into technology. Remember,
Dude, he's hit up their editors.
Yeah, this is
the future
this is
belonged
brilliant.
to those who mastered multiple disciplines. Enter the 21st century, and with it, consumer technology.
Is that Alex in that F2
Unbounded
car?
leverage and
You seen that?
creativity.
Oh, I don't think I was
He loves
actually
his
him, was
F2
it?
cars.
It siloed us.
Or F1.
Instagram optimized for scrolling, Uber Eats for reordering, Google for ads, and apparently, so do chatbots too.
But confidence isn't just built in the gym. Try Step Boost Max.
That's a great advert.
Even the platforms we trusted fell short. Your Whoop data doesn't inform your wellness retreat. Your Google Maps favorites rarely inform your next date night. Nothing understands the full surface area of your life. So how can anything add value to the same degree? So what are we left with? More tools, more noise, less signal. But just like before, we're now entering a new renaissance, a time of abundance. For the first time, we can ingest millions of disparate, unstructured, real-world, real-time data points.
I feel like
into
I'm
one
watching like a
individual
movie
system,
trailer right now.
one
Yeah.
that understands our objectives, our health, our preferences,
great.
our location.
There's like stages of
Execute
this. This is like the
solely with our
third
best
chapter, the
intentions in
third
mind.
act.
And what if you didn't have to ask this system for help? What if it already knew? Not the most popular answer, not the highest paid one, but the right one at the right time.
So this is now
just for you.
product.
Meaning you could spend more time with those you love, perfecting hobbies you admire, extending your lifespan, discovering the cuisines, cultures, places, people that expand your knowledge of the world and the inspiration you gather from it. That would be real leverage. What is a better use of technology than that?
Boom.
Wow. Boom.
Pretty cool. That is pretty cool.
It was like a film. I
hey?
think I was watching a film or something.
Congrats to the Aurora team for shipping that yesterday. We've got Jonah and Aurelius on the show in a minute.
On the voicing it over yourself and it's like being in the film. I feel like a lot of the stuff we see today.
I think a lot of it.
Actually, maybe not. It's fair. Like
I think a lot.
team.
Oh, you've put your Bollinger back.
Yeah.
Okay. I think a lot of it is just like an AI voice, right? But the fact that Jonah is actually speaking, that's good.
It's very eloquent as well. Very well delivered.
Yeah.
Very
It's let from the best.
very eloquent,
It's
yes.
Alex McDonald.
Yeah, absolutely.
Framo, build better sites faster. The all-in-one platform where enterprise teams design, build and ship production-ready websites. No dev handoff, no bottlenecks, no creative compromises. Go to framo.com/ETN.
Yeah. Let's check out.
Yeah, should we check out the town square?
Some more stuff. Oh, the stripe thing.
Yes.
Let's get to this. This is really cool. This is from Ollie Rickman. Ollie leads comms there at Stripe. Was also co-founder of Milltown Partners and head of comms and marketing at DeepMind during the AlphaGo era, which is really cool. But tweets out, economic growth needs you. TLDR, we're hiring a handful of people this year to tell the story of Stripe's infrastructure, the business we're proud to serve, and the path to greater prosperity. Unorthodox backgrounds and spiky skills and courage. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole thing here. The reason we wanted to pull it up, it was because it did some numbers. 195,000 impressions, which you would think is typically like maybe surprising for a almost like a job advert in a way. And like bearing in mind, like Ollie,
job advert with taste though.
I think Ollie, 947 followers. So it's not like he's like, has an easy leg up to get 195,000 K impressions for something like this. But it's basically, it fits so well into what I guess a modern hiring philosophy should look like at a company who moves incredibly quick. One would typically find maybe in the earlier stage of a company's life, like a startup or a scale up or whatever, but this is at Stripe. So I think it's a testament to, I feel that startups will be operating as this is the norm nowadays. But it's so cool to see maybe Stripe, bringing some of these values in, and like, obviously they would be doing this, but they're trying to essentially hire people that are just like not a specific job description, not like we want you to do this and this. It's more like, hey, this person's really, really great. Let's have a chat with them, understand their sort of core values, their philosophy, and then try and mold room for them. Let's mold something around them when we inevitably want them in our business.
It was like flipping the model instead of molding yourself to the role, evolving the role.
Let's just work out how we
person.
can get your brilliance into the company. So they say this year we're hiring differently for some of our permanent roles rather than posting narrow job descriptions and screening for exact fit experience. We want to find people of exceptional caliber and then shape the role to the person.
Yeah.
Through the interview process, we'll work with you to find the right remit of your skills and the right path for your development, a few other things. But they have like 3 distinct points. Tell us something we're not getting right in our communications yet, whether that's something to improve on or something we're missing entirely. Send us a link to something you've personally made happen. Give us your definition of modern storytelling and what you think works and doesn't work in the current attention economy.
That's dope. That's so cool.
2 or 3 sort of non-Stripe. Also, Ruth Barnett, friend of the show, says, what I love about this is it demonstrates 3 things that sound contradictory but aren't. Comms is more valued by the very top companies than ever. They're actively growing the teams. True that. This is particularly true of AI and innovative tech. Job market feels tough for a lot of comms folks because the attributes needed for the new comms aren't what they're used to doing. And it's so true. We've seen the shift. Also, Sam Bauman says, exciting. Shout out to Sam Bauman.
Shout out to Sam Bauman. It's where job roles are going for sure. I mean, when we had James Lowe on, that kind of blew my mind because I didn't think about the job market in a free agent type way. And this kind of does the same. It's the same premise, not the same thing, but it's freeing up the barriers, kind of releasing the barriers to, what specifically you have to be doing. There's that book called, I've forgotten the name. Basically, it talks about, instead of being hyper focused on down one lane, the ones that will win in the kind of modern era, I think it was, the ones that will win in the modern era are the ones that will be going, being able to do everything almost. Like they're kind of polymaths, generalists. And I think they say generalists is the word. And I think that's where we're going, right? It's like, can you make the company's numbers go up? And however way you do that,
just
that's a good
unstoppable for non-technicals.
Yes.
Get things going.
Indeed.
Anyway,
we have Aurelius in the show. Is Jonah joining us? Okay.
No problem. Dude, we've got our Bollinger bottles. Wait, let me get mine front and center. Luke's got his positioned over there quite nicely. I'll get mine here. I might just hold it for the whole interview.
Nice.
Shake it around maybe. Can I put it there? Yeah, we haven't cracked them yet, actually. We'll have to crack them with you guys, maybe.
Are you in London at the moment?
So just kind of closing the loop on hiring the engineering team here. Definitely had an exciting, 6 weeks probably meeting the best talent that London has to offer. We had an amazing event on Sunday actually, where we got some founders and founding engineers together, focus on the future of no work, which is really interesting. And the solutions ranged anywhere from quantum computing solutions to solve TFL scheduling, all the way through to digital twin social networks where people could communicate with one another's digital twins in a future of less work and hopefully a little more freedom and fun.
Nice. You love to hear it. What about the recent launch? Should we talk about that? We just played the video for the stream there. I thought it had like 3 distinct chapters almost. It felt like I was watching a film. What is the thing that we're celebrating? What is the thing that we're talking about? Do you want to maybe we'd love to hear it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's definitely a couple of things I'd want to touch on. I think the mission of Aurora is really to empower human performance, right? And I think when you look at the last decade and a half of where consumer technology has gone, it's probably gone the opposite of human empowerment. It's gone more towards human enslavement, right? And we really want to use Aurora as an opportunity to flip the script on that, right? We want to get people healthier, more socially connected, and more mentally stimulated as well. And the narrative that Jonah was speaking about in the video is going back to the Renaissance, where you had that concept of the universal man, the uomo universale. That kind of person isn't interested in any one individual discipline, but rather they're trying to master a whole variety of disciplines, right? They might be really engaged in arts, they might be really athletic, they might be really socially connected as well. And that's the kind of ethos we're trying to capture with Aurora as well.
So cool. Talk to us about the launch specifically. So this, what went into building this? This is a high production quality piece of content. This isn't just a normal launch video. Would love to hear more about what was the thinking here, what was the strategy. I mean, me and Luke were saying as we were watching it, we need to get in contact with your editor.
Well, the thing I'd say about Jonah is if he wasn't founding and building Aurora, he would like to be a film director as well. So I always tease him whenever he comes with these videos. It's really just a bit of a creative outlet for him and an ability to have his career in that may have been the case in another universe as well. Look, I think we're definitely believers that in a product where we're trying to empower people and make them excited about the world, storytelling is a really important part. We don't want Aurora to just be a functional product where people are executing their lifestyle, right? It's about bringing joy back into a product. And part of that is not only how you're experiencing the product, but how do you feel when you're experiencing it? And what is this story that you yourself are buying into as well? And that extends to the way that we service our members as well. So we're not just a reactive platform or an on-demand platform where you can come in and make any requests. We use people's personal services and the information we have from that to proactively curate their lives for them as well. And part of that comes what is the story that we're trying to help you buy into? What are your objectives in life right now? It might be spending more time with your children. It might be learning a new discipline like martial arts, for example. And how can we create a compelling narrative for you to buy into that and actually go along the journey and experience those special moments?
So cool.
Where do you find that, or where do you feel that humanity is kind of going now? Obviously, Ronan mentioned about the the kind of 3 chapters almost of this of the video, and I guess one of the final chapters or a little bit later in the video, it shows the kind of rise of technology and shows the kind of isolation that some people feel and what's happened with things like social media and whatever. Where do you feel, are we kind of flipping that now, or is it is that where it's naturally going, or is this kind of we want to really force the world to kind of move away from that side, and it's forcing mechanism less than a natural thing, or are people just naturally switching?
Yeah, I don't think, with any new technology, I don't think it's inherently good or inherently bad, right? I think it gives you an opportunity as an individual, as a community, as a society to shape what that technology looks like and whether it impacts people positively or it impacts people negatively. And I think you look at technologies such as social media, I would argue, and this is a hill that I would die on, it hasn't been shaped positively, right? It hasn't had a positive impact on society. It may have been a great business model, but selling cigarettes is also a great business model. Doesn't mean it's great for society either. And I have the personal motivation when I look at the advent of the AI age to make sure that the way that we use technology in that future is in a positive way and is empowering humans, right? Is getting them back into the real world, is not a future where people are doom scrolling in a simulation, but rather where they are connected with their loved ones, where they are inspired and stimulated by the world around them. And I'm excited to try and do my part and bring that future into fruition.
Let's go. And then that I guess that whole space, like I think when Jonah last came on to speak, this was really early on in our journey, and we were having a conversation around I guess the overall realm in which this technology and this sort of area that you guys sit in would kind of sit in event. It's connected to like maybe preventative healthcare stuff. It's connected to sort of like fitness tracking in a way as well. It's connected to like sort of maximizing one's life, whatever that might be, but in each different vertical. Are you seeing people sign up for this specifically for like performance related stuff? Is that still trending upwards? Is this more like a comparative thing, but like a lifestyle management type of thing? They want to spend more time. Like, what's like the one thing that you're seeing in all your signups? Is there a trend even?
Yeah, I think it definitely varies a lot from member to member and the context that they are in. I think what's amazing about Aurora is our ability to be so personalized to someone's individual objectives and goals. I would say a common thread that I see though is that people are a bit turned away by some of the siloed platforms that you have out there in the world, especially in the health wearable realm, where they may be seeing 90% on their Whoop score, but actually they're feeling like crap, and they're really anxious on the inside. And I think the lens that we take on someone's fulfillment is a lot more holistic, and where sometimes going for some beers on a Friday night might not be the best thing for your Whoop score, but it is good for your soul and it's good for your happiness and it's good for the connections that you're forming as well. And I think that's what a lot of people find resonates with them about what we're doing at Aurora. We are trying to have a really broad lens on what means happiness for an individual, rather than trying to have a bit more of that like paternalistic nanny state attitude to individuals that I think other platforms can veer into.
When you're building a platform like that, how do you think of the directions that you go into? When you mentioned it's a very kind of holistic way of building. You're trying to cater to a lot of people and do and be very personal to a lot of people. And provide a personalized product. How do you think about building when the scope of what you can build for something like this is just so wide?
Yeah, it's a great question for sure, and we always have discussions internally about what we should go into and what we shouldn't go into.
Yeah,
I think there's a couple parameters here. The first one is, where can we genuinely move the needle for someone's life, right? I think there's a whole universe of offerings and services that exist, such as where's my favorite hairdresser, or where can I get my coat tailored? That is important, sure, but that we don't necessarily have the right to win there, right? That's not where our expertise are or lie. We know the areas that we invest really deeply in, and we can seriously move the needle for you: dining, wellness, events and experiences, premium goods, and travel. And in those 5 domains, we know we're the best at what we do, and we can seriously move the needle for you there.
Yeah, let's go. And like as I say earlier, it's been a number of months, I think, since we since we had since Jonah on the show. What can we hear about what's changed since then? Like you mentioned that you guys are looking at this engineering team. I'm sure like a number of things have changed since. I mean, I think it was like 4 or 5 months ago, which in startup world is like 50 years. Would love to hear about some of the exciting updates that you guys have got. What can we look forward to that's coming up soon?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think we're definitely on in growth mode at Aurora right now. I think since we last spoke, we've opened up our London office, we've opened up our LA office, our headquarters are in New York as well. We are massive believers in in-person working. We think it's where the best work gets done. And in the spirit of being a company that believes in human empowerment and social connection as well, we think that having a culture where people are excited to come to work really bloody hard, but rub shoulders with people that are, across disciplines, across different teams. You have lifestyle managers and, really relationship driven hospitality people rubbing shoulders with really technical, a bit more nerdy engineers as well. And I think that's a really beautiful thing when you get it right. And right now I'm calling you from our London office, calling you from Belgravia. This is where we're building our engineering team from as well. So we took the decision to build the engineering team in person here in London. I think certainly London has a depth of technical talent that is really unparalleled. But I think what you also get in London is a type of builder that is more thoughtful and more considerate about why they are building what they're building and what the impact of that is. I definitely thought I saw that at the event that we hosted on Sunday as well. And I think that's more thoughtful, more considerate builder that we're looking for. There's so many of them in London, and we probably have a team of 6 or 7 engineers headed up by our CTO Dimitri here in London, looking for our founding product engineer. So definitely spreading this out to the ETN network. If you or anyone in your network knows someone that is interested in building at the forefront of agentic systems and is interested in the mission of what we're trying to achieve of human empowerment, please do reach out to me.
Let's go. Well, where else can we send people? What's the website? What's the social profiles? You've just launched X. Where can we send them?
Well, as of yesterday, I'm now live on X. So definitely,
you are amazing.
Go on X, retweet, spread my most recent post out to your entire network, of course. But no, jokes aside, so you can find us at joinaurora.co online, also on LinkedIn. If you are interested in the position, please do reach out to me there as well.
Awesome stuff. Dude, thank you for coming on. Thank you for spending your time with us. It was an absolute pleasure. And you're always welcome back to come on. We love you guys.
Chaps, thank you so much. Been a great one.
Good stuff.
You.
We'll see you soon. Just before we have our next guest on, Framer, build better sites faster. The all-in-one platform where enterprise teams design, build, and ship production-ready websites. No dev handoff, no bottlenecks, no creative compromises. Where do you go? But yeah, we're sounding the trumpets for our next guest. It's Eleanor Crespo, the co-CEO and co-founder of Pigment, and also my old CEO. Eleanor, it's so good to welcome you to the European Technology Network. How have you been?
Hey, thank you so much for having me, and I'm so happy for you. Congrats on the super early and amazing success of this new show. I'm really excited for you, Roland.
No, thank you so much, Eleanor. But we are not here to talk about me. We are here to talk about you. We are here to talk about Pigment and the amazing things that the team have been doing. Just to kick straight off, I mean, obviously I know who you are. I've briefed Luke on who you are, but for the viewers at home, who are you and what is Pigment?
Yeah, so I'm Eleanor Crespo. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Pigment. So Pigment is an AI business planning and decision-making platform. We have been around for 6 years now. You were here pretty much at the beginning of the adventure. And we serve any type of customer, from Anthropic to Coke to Unilever. It's really a platform that has been designed for enterprise. And to explain a little bit in very short context, there is a lot of volatility in the macroeconomic environment. And it's very hard for large companies to navigate this volatility. It's very hard to make fast decisions. And agility is actually your probably biggest competitive advantage today. If you really want to be successful and thrive in this very complex environment, this is what we help solve with Pigment. So we really help slash time to decision making, and we help you take the best decision at any point in time with the right data.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, it's becoming ever more relevant now, I guess, as you mentioned, the market that we're in. We were literally just discussing earlier, like Figma's stock price just after like Google can launch a sort of design, even just a video, not even actual product, just a video, and it can actually affect the public markets. They're very sensitive right now. With that in mind, like we discussed the momentum of Pigment before. I mean, it was something that we used to rave about when I was working there internally, the growth rate. You guys are approaching 100 million ARR. Can you maybe just talk to us about like how are things internally? How are things moving? What's the momentum like?
Sure. So yeah, look, we've had amazing momentum. We've been growing more than 2x for the past 3 years. Every year in a row, we double our revenue. We've been, signing and working with the most incredible customers, from ServiceNow to Uber to Palo Alto Networks. If I talk about the tech ecosystem, but obviously super broadly, with customers across the board. I was telling you about Coca-Cola or Siemens. And really, I think what has been, as you can imagine, my biggest priority in the past few years has been focused on AI and on shipping completely different value to our customers and completely revolutionizing the way they work with our agents, and really bringing, I was telling you about slashing this time to decision making. That has been a huge issue, for any company out there. And so helping them with a completely different way of working, thanks to our agents, to help them really, bring the right data at the right time to help you make the most strategic decision for your company.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, like, speed is now like one of the kind of biggest moats, I guess, for a company kind of competing in any market, right? Where everything is moving super quickly. But if you guys, if a company can ship quicker than their competitor and get ahead of what's going on in the market, that is a clear sign to kind of go and win your specific market. I wanted to ask how things have changed over the past 6 years in terms of the speed of Pigment, but then also your customers, like shipping products and making decisions faster. How has that changed over the 6 years?
Yeah, it has changed dramatically, to your point. I think we went from cycles that were fine, when you would do planning, for instance, you would do it quarterly or annually or, maybe twice a year, to now you need to be continuously planning, and you need to be continuously reforecasting and re-updating everything you do. And this is what is super hard for companies, because it's, if you don't have the right technology to do that, it's very, very hard for you to say, okay, I want to proactively create a new product. I want to proactively invest in that area. I want to see the impact on my margin, on my revenue, on my top line. I want to see, if I'm hit tomorrow by whatever, inflation, tariffs, what happens to me? Well, usually doing that actually with legacy players, that takes you months, because you need to rebuild models to actually model your company, to understand the impact it can have on your revenue, on your cost, on your workforce. Mm-hmm. And that's not what companies want today. They want to be equipped to be able to take decisions in days, if not hours. So that has completely changed. And I think it keeps accelerating with AI, because we see it internally, our pace of innovation is faster than ever. Like now we would always ship super fast. That was our mode since the beginning of Pigment, but now it's even faster. And what is even harder, I will tell you, is to keep up from the business side, because we ship so much that the business and our sellers do not even have time to learn about our new features. So that becomes a problem on its own. But that's the reality of a lot of companies today. So we are trying with Pigment, obviously, to bring the technology to really help you accelerate your pace across the business.
Yeah. What I'm realizing now as we're having this conversation that's really funny is I remember back in the day, like when we were reaching out to net new customers or something, like we were always, because of our early bet on AI at Pigment, I'm saying your early bet on AI at Pigment, it was always seen as a somewhat risky decision from these legacy or these enterprise players, right? But and it was hard back then as well, because we were the startup doing AI. Now I can imagine for the sellers internally, it's kind of just completely flipped on its head, because this is where every single CFO, whether you're a startup, whether you're an enterprise, whether you're on the FTSE 100, whether you're on the S&P 500, it's where you want to go. You need like an AI native financial platform. What's the shift been like for appetite from these CFOs that you're speaking with?
Yeah, I mean, you are completely right here. It's crazy. I mean, now I think you are taking a big risk if you're not trying to adopt AI. So it's completely shifted. So, and I see it also in the even, like, I would say, different type of traction we're getting. So obviously we are more established player than a few years back, but also I think I'm getting into discussion with like full C-level rooms at the largest companies in the world. Last week I was with BlackRock, I was with Vanguard. With the entire C-suite, it's what's happening today. It's very interesting to see that these companies have a real interest into investing and trying to see how they can change fast. And I think also what is interesting with the new technology, no matter what space you are in, is that it's much easier to make the switch and to say, look, I was using a legacy platform. The problem before was that when you were using a legacy platform, it would take you a long time to switch from one to the next. But now with Pigment, we can actually help you make the switch in no time. And that makes a huge difference for these companies that, unfortunately do not have the bandwidth or the resources to help them move. So it's a total game changer and really exciting, I think, for all of our customers to see them being able to adopt the technology extremely fast now.
Yeah, I think it's like flips. We usually use the analogy that like sometimes if you're moving away from a legacy platform to a newer platform, that's a reason you might be fired if it doesn't work, right? But now it's like if you're moving away from a legacy platform, that's a good thing. You've tried because it's the in thing to go and try the new platforms. I think that's such a massive shift. Where do you see the growth of Pigment now in the next kind of year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever? Do you think it's just going to just keep going up because these changes are going to be happening, 10 times faster in a few months, right?
Yeah, I think, look, for us, we have, we want to create a technology platform that can impact literally any business in the world. So we want to keep growing really fast. And more importantly, I think, bring the power of agents to literally anyone in a company, because the reality is also that enterprise performance management in general, what we do, business planning, etc., was most of the time stuck into strategic teams because the technology was not so easy to adopt for everybody in a company. And now that has completely changed. And that means giving a lot more intelligence to anybody in a company, so providing so much value to anyone. So if I give you an example, we've just announced about a week and a half ago our modular agent. And it's completely mind-blowing, meaning that now whatever you want to build on Pigment, you just prompt, and not only it builds the model for you, but it builds it with the maximum expertise that you probably would have never have yourself. So it's completely shifting the way you are going to work, I would say, with technology in general, to help you think better and smarter about your own business unit, your own team, etc. And so for me, the growth will definitely come from the fact that adoption is going to be crazier and crazier as we go, and that you are going to be able also to automate so many more tasks as the months and the years go.
Yeah. Let's talk about the space we mentioned right at the start. It's such a volatile market right now. It's very, very sensitive to anything an AI lab will do. SaaS companies and their publicly traded stocks are responding to them, maybe too sensitively. I don't really know. You obviously speak to a bunch of CEOs all the time, other founders, and I'm guessing investors too. Can you maybe sort of talk to us about how the SaaS landscape is evolving right now? Like, is it the SaaS apocalypse, or are there going to be some survivors? Is it that no one survives? What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I think there is some truth to what's happening today, meaning that there are probably more than half of the companies out there that are in big trouble today and will have a very hard time to survive, because transforming your company with AI, it has been the case for a lot of market shift, and this one is more brutal than any other, given how transformative it is. A lot of large players and legacy players will not be able to make that shift, but some will, and when they do, it will, they have so many incredible modes that it will, make them even, I would say, stronger than ever. And I think for me, the technology companies that are going to survive are the ones that are able to transform themselves from a so-called SaaS to an operating system, and an operating system where agents can work on top, especially in the enterprise, where you have a great playground for agents to play on top of, where you can bring governance, where you can bring the right process, the right workflow, the right business context. These are going to be the winners, I think, of tomorrow. And it's still very early to tell, which one are going to win or not. Some will be the Siebel of the last decade. Some will be the companies that manage to transform themselves, like Microsoft has done so well over the past decade, right? So there will be two worlds, but I do think that the one that will manage will have very strong moats. There are moats around ecosystem, around distributions, around data, the fact that you have proprietary data, etc., that are going to be very strong. And so I think it's a very exciting time because I think it will create really bring the best of the best technology, and the one that will survive will bring a total revolution to their users.
Yeah. Can only be a good thing for the whole ecosystem. What I'd love to touch on very, very quickly, I know we've kind of touched on it, but the modeler agent, like this was, I mean, I'm trying to remember, it was when I joined, it was around Series A, and AI was being discussed even back then, which is years and years before this was even getting brought up. How are these individuals reacting to this product? Like, what is what's the thought process? What's the response from some of these CFOs for agents in particular? Because I feel like, AI with finance has already arrived, but very, very quickly it became agentic workflows within finance. What's been the response from the agentic stuff?
I will tell you, I think a lot of people do not even believe what's happening right now, because it's just a dream. Like, it's a dream that came true in literally a few months. It's really what happened. Even I can tell you myself, I've been surprised by the capability we've been able to ship recently, how fast things are going. So I will give you concrete examples, but the fact that now you are literally able to build anything on Pigment, things that would literally take you months now take you minutes, with the biggest expertise on your shoulder at your fingertips, is absolutely unparalleled. The fact that now you're able to drop a model that you had spent perhaps weeks or months building on Excel, you drop it into Pigment, it converts into a Pigment model that now is an enterprise-ready model that is rightly governed, with the right data access, with the right access. It's just unparalleled. It's absolutely unparalleled, and it's just the beginning. So I think what we start to see is that people start only realizing the value that agents can bring. The fact that now you have an unlimited team of agents at your fingertips that can run literally thousands of analyses in parallel for you, things that literally you would require 20 team members to do before. The fact that now you can model anything probably better than anyone at your company in no time. All of these things are completely groundbreaking. And so I think, all of the CFOs that we show the product to are like, yeah, my dream is now fulfilled. So we see it in the numbers, the people that have started adopting it, like on numbers are just going through the roof. It's more than a hockey stick. It's like more than an exponential. And I would say what is cool is that it's what makes me super happy is that it's across the business. So Ronan, probably you remember, but when you joined, it would not have been that easy for you to build a model in Pigment. It requires expertise. Now we've lowered the bar to the ground. Everybody can build, everybody can model on Pigment, and it can really go from intent, from what you want to do, to decision making, which is crazy.
Wow.
Boom, there you go. Should have stayed, man.
I know. Yeah. What am I doing here? I need let me know if you're hiring again. I'll leave.
We'd love to welcome you back for sure.
It'll be a lonely ETN.
Eleanor, thank you so much for spending time with us today. We've got like 20 seconds left. Where can we send people? Like, what have we got that's coming up that people can get excited for?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to hear more, obviously pigment.com, you can find us everywhere, on LinkedIn, on Twitter. You can message me directly, eleanor.crespo@pigment.com. I can redirect you to my team, and you can try the product on your own. We're actually launching a public version very soon to anybody to use it. So it's exciting. And congrats again to the two of you. Super happy for you, and it was such a pleasure to be with you today.
No, the pleasure is all ours. Thank you, Anna. It's been awesome.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Ciao.
Before we have our last guest on, leave that dated business banking behind with Airwallex, the all-in-one financial platform built for the pace of modern business, multi-currency accounts, corporate cards, expense management, online payments, all in one platform. Go to airwallex.com. Next and final guest we have on the show is Dennis Zhu, co-founder at Adaptive AI.
Coming off the back of a viral launch.
Yeah, Dennis, can you hear us?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Dude, love that cap.
Perfect. Oh, thank you. That's
that's good.
It's some swag that we got recently. So
that's sick. Dude, so good to have you on. Where do we even start? Maybe the launch?
Let's talk about the launch. Yeah, let's talk about it. How'd it go? It looked like it went pretty well.
It's been crazy. The last few nights have been just a lot of just getting woken up by pings and trying to make sure that all the servers are staying up and everything. But I mean, we've been blown away by the reception. I mean, we've been working on kind of this update for the product over the last 5-6 months, and we knew we had something on our hands a couple months in when we had an early version of the product out, and the team was just using it in like totally different ways that we didn't really expect. But to see it in the wild now and this actually happening is a whole different thing. So it's been awesome.
Dude, really awesome. Huge
What are the first question, like straight off the bat? What are the cool ways that your team were using it or have been using it? Give us some examples.
Yeah. I mean, should I describe kind of broadly what adaptive is?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, sorry, we jumped the gun.
We always jump the gun.
No worries. So I mean, fundamentally, what adaptive is? It's really simple. It's what happens when you put an AI inside of a computer that was specifically designed to be used by agents and not humans, right? And so if you think about, the computers that we use today, they've co-evolved with us over the course of the last 40 years, right? Very similar to kind of how dogs have, right? But, if you throw a dog into the wild now and then you told them to survive, they would have no chance, right? And in the same way, it's kind of like, we know by the end of this year that there's going to be more agents using software than humans, but we're giving them like a Windows tablet, Surface Pro or something, right? And we're like, hey, go ahead and use this. So adaptive, what it is we fundamentally redesign how the computer works for an agent. We put it inside of, put the agent inside of that computer, and then we said, hey, now you're essentially like an employee who is sitting in front of a computer. You happen to be very good at writing code, and actually writing code is what you do to get things done for you. For your user. So, and kind of going into like, okay, well, what do we use it for? Everything from like automating tasks. So one thing that I do now is whenever I get a bill, and this bill is getting bigger from OpenAI or Anthropic, I have it auto forward it to my Mercury bank account, right? And then that auto creates the invoice. Okay, so something really simple there. We've had people on the team essentially build out kind of entire health systems connected, like biohacker stuff, connected to their Whoop, connected to their 8 Sleep, because it can go and log into your accounts. It can connect to those APIs. And this one guy has it every morning, essentially tell him like, hey, today is a swim day, right? Because, your recovery wasn't that great and whatever, or today you can go harder. Today is like, something else, right?
Yeah.
So, stuff like that are some of the very common ones. And then basically every part of our, Slack to GitHub workflow, right? We used to have this problem where we would have like open PRs that engineers, weren't approving quickly enough. And, for us quickly is like within 6 hours. And so it was like piling up, and we'd have to manually ping the channel, but now we have adaptive, just goes through, finds the open PRs that have been open for the more than 6 hours, and then does it for us, right? So a lot of these things that we do, but I think the things that we've seen other people do with it, since the launch, that's been kind of the more crazy and interesting stuff as well. So.
Yeah. It's so cool to see. Like, I remember, I've mentioned it before on the show, but when I was working for Convergence, like we were building horizontal browser-based agents. So ours wasn't like computer built like yours, which is, I guess, the better evolution of that. But one of the hardest parts, to be honest, was like us trying to figure out what, if I'm on a sales call and they're like, well, what does it do? Yes, I can say it does everything. But like, how do I sell the dream with that, right? Like, how do they understand that? So like, part of the biggest struggle for us was always just figuring out like, where do we even point this thing? Because it can handle everything, and ours needed a bit of work. But it's good to hear like the team is already building these like internal workflows. What is it like in my mind when? Like, what does the future look like for this technology? Like, what's the end goal in your mind? Is it like we used to maybe talk about? We'd have an environment where you don't just have like this one autonomous employee, but that employee can create a team, and then that team can create like a department, and then a company, and then it's like a, where do you stop there? But like, I'd love to hear your take. I'd love to hear what you think.
Yeah. For us, what we're laser focused on, I mean. The way I think about it is our very kind of, first mission. And I think this is actually going to take a while to like truly do properly, is to actually make it feel like you do have an employee sitting in front of a computer, capable of doing anything that a really, really smart employee is in front of a computer. Because right now there's still, you mentioned like the putting an agent inside of a browser. That is still one of the biggest unsolved problems today, right? Like our agent, the computer we gave it, it has a browser, right? And it has, a browser that it can use to log into things. It'll remember that browser, continues to live on, just like you don't have to, re-log into to the same thing multiple times. But that's still one of the biggest challenges that we have today, because there are a lot of services, the web was kind of built against bots, right?
Yeah.
And right now it kind of sees all of these agents as bots. And then so you try to log into some services and you get a CAPTCHA. And right now bots aren't great at solving CAPTCHAs and, all of the different other protections, right? So there's so much kind of more in that direction to really figure out. But then, eventually the goal really is, to make it feel like you just have this, essentially it's personal AGI, right? In your pocket, on your computer. We have an iOS app as well. That's kind of where we're heading.
Yeah. Do you think that will always be, because only relatively recently, maybe in the past kind of, I guess, 6 months-ish, maybe 3, has, the kind of the chat box been like a thing that people have been like, oh, like, why is the interface not changing? How do you find that humans will interact with these things? I think I have referred to it before, I can't remember who it was, but he was talking about how it should be invisible, right? The job of it is to be invisible and you not to have an interface to interact with it. It should just kind of know what to do, right? How do you find that, humans will actually interact with these kind of things?
So this is actually one of the things that we really focused on, which is we put the agent inside the computer and we said, hey, go build software, right?
Yeah.
But we didn't say go build software for humans. We actually said you are actually going to be the one who's operating the software that you create. And then so it goes and creates whatever interfaces that it needs, which does not actually look like human interfaces at all, right? But then there is this part where it's like, a lot of the time the human is like, hey, I want to see a dashboard of like what's actually happening, right? Yeah. So it kind of becomes like mission control. So there's like a UI for the human, which is, basically the chat plus, some like essentially dashboard elements and very simple UI. And then there's like a UI for the agent. And so what Adaptive is doing is it's creating the software, and then it's actually, and it's creating it in a way that is easy for itself to operate. And then it's going and operating that, right? And then we give you essentially just like, hey, here's a chat, and then here's a way to actually interact with the dashboards to see what's happening and all that stuff.
That's super interesting. Like, there's a lot of talk, I guess, publicly around like the next evolution of this agentic realm is the fact like people will now start building software for agents. Like, you don't want to be building software for humans anymore, because if the thesis plays out, like, it will be agents running these companies. It will be agents running these workforces. I think literally like 20 hours ago, we saw Stripe announce, I think it's called MPP,
MPP,
which is a huge bet, right? Like, it's a huge bet on this future playing out. A lot of the conversations we've been having from those that come from the crypto background is they're pretty gassed, basically, because it's looking like that would be used as the sort of infrastructure around payments for agent-to-agent purchases and that sort of stuff. What was it that made you jump at this, I guess, build in this realm, right? Like, was there something that you saw one day that was like, oh, damn, that's definitely going to be the next big thing? Or
so I've been working with LLMs since 2022, and so my last company, OpenAI, was actually one of the first investors in it, and this was before they released ChatGPT, right? And then we managed to get an early version, early access to GPT-4. And for me, my background, I studied computer science, but I've never really spent like real time as an engineer, because honestly, I hated it, right? Before LLMs, I hated the process of debugging code, all that stuff. But then when I got GPT-4, all of a sudden I went from, a kind of like mostly a manager, an ideas guy, right? I started just pushing code to the repo, right, with the help of this thing, and it really made the realization that, hey, very soon, we would be able to truly democratize code writing, right? And then what I think now people are starting to realize is actually almost all knowledge work can be represented in some way as code, right? And that's why we're seeing, things like Claude Code really take off, not just in the coding domain, but also for many other things, right? And so I think that series of realizations really led me to this, which is like, hey, one day we're actually just going to put an agent inside of a computer. We're just going to let it, do these things like a human would. Yeah. And I just wanted to be, the person who would do that. So
that's so dope. It's weird how you mentioned the ideas guy thing. We've had a number of, like, Julian Beck, one of the partners at Sequoia that we had on recently. Like, this was a topic that we broached with him as well, and he was saying that this is like, whether you like it or not, is the kind of the age of the ideas guy. Like, the cost to create is on its way towards zero. But even when interfacing with these products and interfacing with these technologies, right? Like Kapathi saying a while back that the English language is the new programming language. Being like linguistically capable in a way that allows you to communicate with these technologies better than someone else is actually a sought after skill set, right? Like, and I find that insane.
Yeah, being able to communicate, and then I think a lot of things that a lot of idea guys, they have this trait in common, which is they're really high agency, and they're very persistent, right? And that is really helpful, in this age when you can actually go and bother the AI, and it won't get annoyed at you, right? Like an engineer would. So
yeah, keep hitting them up. That's funny.
I think it was either PG or it was Mark Andreessen was saying that, like, being the person that knows what to do next is the valuable bit. What direction to take next. I think it was literally just a one-liner tweet, and I was like, that's so true. That's such a good way of putting it, because it's literally like, you've got all of these things that you could do, but what's the one signal within the noise to actually go and build / whatever, go and work on. I think that's the big thing. It's interesting. What can we look forward to with Adaptive Computer? Obviously, you guys have launched, heads down now to kind of go and build more stuff for the customers and everything. Anything else that we can look forward to? What's the plan?
Yeah, I mean, so when you onboard an employee, you give them a computer, you give them a bunch of their own accounts, you give them a credit card, you give them these things that they need to actually go and do things in the real world, right? So for us, it's just enabling more of those things, right? So pretty soon it's going to have a credit card, it's going to have a way to manage credentials securely, it's going to have a much better way to actually browse the internet than it does today, and all of these things. So that's what's coming.
Dude, that's gonna be arming these agents like a new employee. Like, do they get merch? Do the agents get a cap as well?
They should. Maybe
that could be like a marketing trick thing. I don't know. Dude, thank you so much for joining us. Though we are out of time. We appreciate it. We'd love to keep posted on that when you guys do another launch. I don't know what you've done, but you've clearly cracked something to go viral. Like, over 1 million views is insane. So congratulations, and welcome back anytime.
All right, thanks guys, appreciate it.
Good stuff.
Have a good one.
Soon.
Have a good one, man. Ciao.
Awesome stuff. What a show. There you go. Leave that data business banking behind with Airwallex, the all-in-one financial platform built for the pace of modern business. Multi-currency accounts, corporate cards, expense management, online payments, all-in-one platform. Go to airwallex.com. That is the show. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. Quickly breaking, Polymarket has just announced that they've partnered with MLB as their exclusive prediction market exchange partner. Congrats to Polymarket. We love them. They love us, hopefully.